What's going on, everybody? This is T. Lawrence back at it again with another podcast session here. And yeah, you all probably recognize the face that's on the screen right now. Corrupted Judge has decided to come back for round two of the podcast. So, Corrupted Judge, welcome back to the show.
Back by unpopular demand.
Oh, no. Oh, come on. Dude, the first podcast session we recorded has, at least at the moment, around 340 views, and that's a lot more than I expected,
Okay.
So, I honestly expected, only the most, die-hard, followers for our respective communities to watch them, because nobody has the time to watch a hour and 15-minute long session these days, so, but...
It depends on who you are, I suppose.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, for me, when I do a lot of busy work, I turn on, these long-form videos in the background just for, background noise, so it makes sense for people like me, but so, oh well. But yeah, happy to have you back for a round two of the podcast, so yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Yep, exactly. Thank you for accepting, and, but another reason why I actually decided to bring you back for a round two is because, number one, I really enjoyed our first podcast together, so once again, appreciate you for that as well. But secondly, when you mentioned that you've been on YouTube for almost 10 years and started providing some snippets of your previous endeavors, I knew that there was a lot more than meets the eye with the Corrupted Judge lore, if you want to call it. And I wanted
hide behind closed doors.
Yeah, and I wanted to use this podcast, this round two, as an opportunity to dig a little deeper on that and explore what else is there in the Corrupted Judge expanded cinematic universe, if you want to call it.
Sure, you know what? Why not? Let's go for it.
Yeah, but that being said, though, I mean, it's not just for its own sake. You both of us, we do pretty similar content in that we're aspiring to be YouTubers, and we also both cover a lot of gaming. And there's a lot that I want to talk about regarding those two subjects as well. I mentioned this in our DMs, and because of the fact that you've done this a lot longer than I have, I would like to use this as an opportunity to discuss about these topics more in detail. Get your input on where you stand on gaming and YouTube in general, and, see if we can both get some productive discourse going to help everybody. So, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And not only that, but I also saw your comment below Chocoburb's podcast where you wrote challenge accepted, and I'm assuming what you meant by that was beating the 2-hour time records, so yeah.
I meant that in a lot of ways. One of which I'm not going to explain now, as that's something for later on in the year.
Okay, alright. We're in for the ride, so yeah, waiting for the surprise. But yeah, I mean, but that being said, though, I am expecting this podcast to go on for a very long time, and in fact, so long that we may even have to take a break in the middle. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I hope you're ready for it.
Alright, let's go.
Yeah, alright. But number one, let's get started with gaming for one. What is your history? What is your personal history with gaming?
Okay, as for most adolescent children and anybody who stupidly started out in the beginning of YouTube with nothing to work with, I ended up starting with pretty much mobile games. Unfortunately, my first phone was technically an iPhone 4. God frickin' forbid I ever get another iPhone in my life. But that was pretty much my first phone. That's pretty much what I used for a lot of the gaming. And it was one of the phones that I used back in my early days when I actually tried doing YouTube to play different mobile games that I would get. Even to the point of jailbreaking it to get a mobile port of DDLC at one point.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, jailbreak is not a term that I've heard for a long-ass time, but I do remember that being a very big thing back when I was in middle school for people who were too lazy to buy anything on the App Store, so...
Yeah. Granted, I still don't like paying for things on the App Store, so...
Yeah.
Not that I don't pay for anything. Freaking the FBI agent that listens to my phone calls.
It wouldn't be the FBI in your case. It would be this CSIS, but oh, whatever. Or
Tomato.
Canadian Mounted Police, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Freaking the Mounties are always outside my house.
Yeah. But yeah, you did mention mobile gaming in our first podcast as well, but that's also something that I actually wanted to touch up on, is that mobile gaming has really changed a lot, at least since you and I were like in our younger years back in the 2010s and even the late 2000s, and that at least the mobile games back then, there wasn't a lot of microtransaction. Basically, what you paid for in the App Store with that one app is what you got, and that was it. You know?
Oh yeah, 100%. Back then, when corporations weren't as greedy, like I still remember a lot of that stuff. I still remember Minecraft Pocket Edition being like you one-time payment, you don't have to pay for skins or nothing, and you can just go ahead and play right there. There's a lot of old mobile racing games they used to play, freaking CSR2, freaking Nitro Nation. A lot of those had microtransactions, but nothing as grand or as big as it is nowadays. If you look at a lot of, in this case, mobile games in the gacha set of things, freaking Goddess Victory Nike, Withering Waves, freaking Zenless Zone Zero, a lot of them rely on the gacha microtransactions. And I know this because I play a majority of them. I've done them on the channel before. So, freaking, you can have back in the early 2010s, like maybe you pay $5 for 100 gold, and that 100 gold can get you everything that you want for the next year. Versus nowadays, you pay $200 in maybe Zenless Zone Zero, and that'll get you maybe half the stuff that you want for the day.
The fact that a lot of this, I mean, I guess with gacha it might be a little bit different, but still, the fact that a lot of apps have become pay to win at all is honestly kind of a disgrace, because honestly, you know, again, like back in the old days of mobile gaming, most of the microtransactions, actually that's not even the correct term for it, most of the out of app purchases that were available were mostly for cosmetic purposes and not necessarily something that affected the overall gaming experience. But I guess mobile gaming in general was kind of a new thing at the advent of smartphones, so perhaps it's not something that was in people's minds at the time, but I guess one could say it is the natural progression of any product, you know, and that once it becomes developed and mainstream enough, they'll try to extract as much money as possible in one way or another. So, I mean, I hate to say it sounds deterministic and that, you know, in some ways that this was inevitable, but still, I do miss those old days for sure. Yeah, so.
Probably one of the most interesting examples I can say in terms of microtransactions in a mobile game. I'm not sure if you know the game created by Gameloft called Gangstar Vegas.
It sounds familiar. I used to play a lot of Gameloft videos back then, so I am familiar with the company, yeah.
Okay, so Gangstar Vegas was pretty much Gameloft's equivalent to GTA, but as a mobile port. Basically, you're around Vegas or whatever, you're an old school gangster / MMA fighter who's pretty much just trying to get out of a bad spot. Back when I used to play it, like back in like the early days, the way to progress in the story was to either do an in-app purchase to pay for diamonds to progress to the next chapter, or you would need to grind out until you reached a certain level. So say I beat chapter 1 and I want to go to chapter 2. To get to chapter 2, I need to be level 15, but I'm only level 5. I can either do a microtransaction to get like 300 gems to pay for it, and I can go right in, under-leveled, or I can grind out all the freaking missions daily and move up. The problem is the missions would only get you, say, 100 XP, and you needed like 15,000 in order to level up. So it'd be slow progression or pay to win.
I mean, that kind of sounds like by design, you know. I mean,
kind of, but I recently actually tried playing it again out of curiosity to see if anything has changed. It's not so much microtransactions anymore, but it's mostly ads now.
I mean, that is one way to mitigate things, possibly without hurting the consumers too much. I mean, sure, ads are annoying, but I mean, it doesn't require anybody to pay anything out of their own pocket, literally. So, I mean, I guess
Again,
in a way
it depends on who you are.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you're paying with your time, similar to YouTube ads, but
Yeah.
Wow. But damn, Gameloft is a name that I have not heard in years, actually.
Gameloft is still heavily active. If you know the Asphalt Racing series, they're still decently in there right now.
Really? I thought Gameloft went bankrupt.
Did they? No, because I know Gameloft had an assist in Asphalt 8, which was also a mobile game, and then Asphalt 9 came out a few years ago for console and for mobile. And then they reverted it to Asphalt Legend, so I don't know if another company bought the rights to it and then changed the name or what. But as far as I know, I think they're still kicking, at least with the in terms of their game titles.
I mean, I haven't kept up with it too much in the mobile sphere, so my opinion, I'm probably not up to date with a lot of things, so yeah. But
fair.
Yeah. But speaking of Gameloft, though, I mean, yeah, Man, now I'm feeling very nostalgic because I used to play a lot of Modern Combat and Nova, like a lot of like these mobile FPS games.
Oh my god, I completely forgot Nova existed.
Yeah, it's basically like an iPhone version of Halo.
Yeah, I remember playing Nova Legacy, which is the sequel to the original one. And I remember a long time ago, like I think it was like maybe 2 years ago, I tried re-downloading it only to find out that it was removed from stores, and it was now some kind of weird multiplayer thing, which kind of sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of old mobile, like really great mobile games from back then aren't available in the App Store anymore because the developers just gave up on them and didn't like put the app's specs up to date with the new iOSs and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tragedy. You know, it's like what happened with a lot of Flash games as well.
Yeah,
Flash
fair.
got discontinued, but yeah. But damn. Yeah. But I guess to pivot back to your personal history with gaming, though, yeah, you started off with mobile games, and if I may ask, did you like focus on mobile games because you didn't have a console or anything?
I focused on mobile games, not because I didn't have a console, because this was back when I had a GameCube and N64, a Wii, and all that kind of stuff. No, I mainly focused on mobile console or mobile gaming because it was the only thing I had that would record my screen. Because back then, I wasn't as, what's the word I'm looking for, like technologically sound as I am nowadays. Now that I know what I'm doing with a computer. I didn't know how to like hook up a computer and everything like that to record things and then upload them. But my phone, I could easily just download a screen recording app and edit it in my phone and then just upload it. So it was easier for me to do mobile gaming stuff than it was to spend like 2 months trying to figure out how to come up with the money to buy the equipment I needed to record my screen on a computer or on my console.
Yeah, and back then you also needed to get a dedicated capture card, especially for consoles as well. You know, so it was a lot more a hassle back then. But yeah, it's not like today where you could just easily download OBS or any other open source software, just click record. So yeah, makes sense. But that being said, though, obviously you have moved on from mobile gaming since then, and like how has your gaming history evolved since?
I mean, going from way back at the start from mobile gaming, losing 2 or 3 of my channels as the journey went on, to now having the highest subscriber count I've ever had, which is like 560 last I checked, which isn't much compared to most people, but more than I've ever had with all my other channels combined. I'd say the progression was actually decently well, especially now that before the RAM shortage happened, a lot of stuff was more accessible. Freaking Steam, all the games on there, recording equipment, a lot of the stuff is now free. It's just a matter of knowing what you want and how you want to use it.
And making sure that, again, your tech specs are capable of running said games as well.
Yeah.
Nowadays
with the RAM shortage, it's almost impossible for anybody new who wants to like start with a PC or a computer or anything like that. It becomes impossible for you to build the PC that you want in order to do everything that you want to do, given that you need to pay pretty much twice as much as a pre-built PC. You're better off just buying something pre-built rather than building something that meets your specifications.
Mhm. Absolutely. But I guess if you could possibly take a little tangent on the PC thing, is it possible to actually modify a pre-built PC as well?
It is, if you know what you're doing. I had my PC wasn't necessarily pre-built. It was custom built, quote unquote, by my old artist, Awkward Thief, who used to work for me. And her roommates ended up putting this whole thing together for $700, and I was thankful enough to get it done right before the RAM shortage, otherwise it would have been higher.
Damn.
But getting a pre-built PC and modding it is not that hard. The problem is whether or not the parts that you want to install it are actually going to work on that PC. Because you can't just, it's like sticking two pieces of two different puzzles together. That just because they fit together doesn't mean that the picture is going to be clear.
Yeah, because you have to make sure that all the parts, like not only on the hardware side, but even the software side as well, can actually, calibrate together, for the lack of a better term. The word forgets me. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I expect this shortage phase to eventually, pass away because, before the RAM shortage, it was the GPU shortage. Because everybody was obsessed with graphics and whatnot, and after RAMs, we're probably gonna move on to some other, piece of hardware that everybody obsesses over.
We're gonna lose our fans next.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be such a hot summer that they're just gonna take the fans from our PCs.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah. Cool, but I guess to pivot now back to gaming in general, though. Now that you have since moved on from mobile gaming and trying to take more, I don't want to say serious gaming, but I guess you're much more all around the mainstream now. Well, for one, obviously it doesn't have to be said, but you are a pretty dedicated hardcore gamer, and with that in mind, how do you think gaming overall, like not just the games themselves, but even the industry wide, has evolved since when you first started getting into gaming?
It's been, I guess you could say it's been up and down, and honestly, you have games from back in the day that were very simple, like if I'm gonna go back then, I'm gonna have to use Nintendo for this. Nintendo back then was pretty much the king of home consoles and everything like that. Freaking, like I said, the N64, the GameCube, the Wii, those were at the top of their game compared to PlayStation and Xbox when they had their original consoles and the Xbox 360. So seeing the progression from that to all the way everything that we have right now this year, everything brand new, everything great, all the graphics. But at the same time, I've noticed, not just in consoles, the console stuff, the graphics get better and it becomes bigger in terms of terabytes, I guess. But on PC stuff, you can see 8-bit games that people just made, and it'll still be more phenomenal than a lot of the stuff that Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, Sony, any of them could actually make.
Yeah, I you were probably around as well, or remember it vividly as well, but I remember the console versus PC wars that were going on in the early 2010s.
Those are the days.
Yeah, which, I wasn't really a hardcore gamer back then myself, so it's not really something that concerned me that much. Again, I was also mostly into mobile because I didn't have a console growing up, and mostly spent my time playing, again, mobile and flash games on these websites. But that being said, though, I have noticed that people on the console side have sort of conceded in that, like PC, at least in terms of like the technical side, does provide a much more superior experience than consoles. And that the only reason to buy consoles these days is to get exclusive titles, like, say, Halo for Xbox, or The Last of Us for PlayStation, Spider-Man games as well, all that yada yada yada. So, yeah.
I agree with that. Especially since nowadays, if you look at it, Xbox or Microsoft, whichever you would prefer to call them, they're even trying to integrate like actual like PC components and stuff into their next console. And you also have the Steam machine, which is pretty much a Steam variation of a Steam variant of a console. So you have PC trying to become a console, but you also have consoles trying to become brand new PCs. Heck, we even have the Steam Deck now, which is pretty much just a large, more accessible version of a Nintendo Switch. That is pretty much a computer that you can take anywhere.
So we're kind of seeing a convergence going on, in a way.
Yeah, like everyone's conceded that PC's better. I can say that for certainty. I've grew up with consoles all my life, but now I have run on a PC and everything. I like PC a lot more than console, but I find it really funny how everything is flipped around, where you have PC companies trying to become console companies and console companies trying to become PC companies.
I mean, I can understand why console companies are trying to become, quote-unquote, become PC, at least for the technical benefits, but I don't really see the benefit of PC companies, if you want to call that, going the other way around. Like, the Steam machine, for example, is a very good example in that. I mean, disclaimer: I don't know too much about the developments of the Steam machine, but at least from the sounds of it, it seems like it's just for a supplementary purpose, in that it's just a dedicated console that allows you to play Steam games, nothing else. I mean, it doesn't really provide any other unique experiences. I mean, if you could, I don't know, if you could fill me a little bit on.
Yeah. The best way to describe the Steam machine is a non-portable version of the Steam Deck.
Okay.
The Steam machine is basically just a very compressed PC dedicated to Steam, like how the Steam Deck is a Nintendo Switch dedicated to Steam games.
Ah, okay.
If that makes any sense to anybody, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. I don't like being wrong.
No, I think I know what you're getting at, because, like, one benefit, at least back then, that consoles did have compared to PCs is that, especially with custom-built PCs, you had to, number one, you had to know what the hell you were doing, to be able to build a PC, and again, they were a lot more expensive to build as well, because you had to find all the dedicated parts and whatnot. It was a lot of technical work. But with consoles, you didn't have to worry about any of that. It's just similar to a pre-built PC. With console, you just had to, you didn't have to worry about the technical build inside, because everything was pre-built anyways, and you didn't have to worry about any other functions like PCs did. Where with like non-gaming functions and whatnot. With consoles, it was just for gaming. It was already pre-built. You just have to pay it one time and boom, that was it. And I guess with the Steam machine, what seems to be the case is that they're kind of trying to provide that simplified experience that's purely dedicated for gaming and nothing else.
Yep, that pretty much sums it up.
Okay. I know that was a very convoluted, explanation, but I hope the viewers were able to understand it as well. But yeah,
they're your viewers; they're smart enough to understand.
All right. I don't know. I feel like if Capitan were to hear this podcast, then he would actually own both of us, because he's a hell of a lot more knowledgeable when it comes to like the technical side of gaming. So yeah, I'm
willing to admit when I do not have the intellect for certain aspects.
Full transparency here. I am probably like the most least knowledgeable when it comes to like the technical side of anything, because I mean, hey guys, there's a reason why I dropped out of engineering back in the undergrad of college. So yeah, okay, I'm an artist. I'm not a technician or an engineer. So there's full disclaimer there. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting. But I guess moving beyond the technical side of things, though, in terms of the actual games themselves, this one I feel a little bit more informed about and interested in digging a little deeper. number one, what is your opinion on the state of video games in terms of their IPs? You know, the actual games themselves, like the technical specs. You know, notwithstanding.
Technical spec. When you mean IP, do you mean like physical copies versus digital copies?
No, no, no. Let me rephrase that. Like the artistic side of games. You know, like in terms of like the quality of the games themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I've explained this on my channel once before. I'm a man who likes a game with a good story, so I don't care if the artwork or the graphics are bad. If the story is engaging, I'm going to probably play and enjoy it. The best example I can come up with is the Paper Mario series, specifically Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario for the Nintendo Wii. A lot of people didn't like the new aspects from going from an RPG, turn-based strategy that is Thousand Year Door, and then going to a more or less open roaming, I don't want to say roguelike, open roaming kind of game that is Super Paper Mario, which is a 2D scroller but can also become having 3D aspects. A lot of people didn't like that conversion, and because of that, not a lot of people actually wanted to play it initially. However, because I love the Paper Mario series, I ended up giving it a shot. And I loved the story. I did not care about the mechanics of the game. I did not care about how it looked. I did not care about the controls. I loved the story, and the story itself was the reason I kept playing. So for me, graphics, textures, renderings, none of that matters. What you need is something to engage and then have the story to keep them coming.
That also, I would push back in the sense that, you know, that really depends on what the player values, because I mean, as you know, not all gamers value the same thing, and that, yeah, there are some people like you and I as well who do value a very good story experience, but there are some people which, how do I put this nicely, there are some multiplayer purists, if you want to call it, who really do get very hamstrung about the mechanics of the gaming lore. In fact, they really look for a super mechanics heavy experience and could really care less about like single player in general. So, but then these guys are probably also those that probably invest in a little bit of esports as well. Let's be real. So maybe they're kind of a different field, but yeah, I mean, but that's also. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go
ahead. You go ahead.
I mean, I was just wrapping up my point about how, yeah, again, like, the gamers in general are not a monolith, and that you can't really try to please everybody. So perhaps it's better to kind of, you know, compartmentalize, you know, in who you're really trying to cater towards. So yeah, that was it.
For me, I can't necessarily play mechanic heavy games because I've said this before. I grew up on Nintendo. A lot of the mechanics are simple. The best way to describe it is a Smash Bros. Player going up against somebody who specializes in Mortal Kombat. They can do combos like it's nothing, versus me, where all I can do is like just press A and hope that I get the hit. I grew up without having mechanic heavy freaking games. So a lot of the games that I even play now, which is probably one of the other reasons why I love Helltaker as much as I do, because it's such a simple game with very little mechanics. That's why I focus on the story. I don't have to focus on the mechanics, I can just focus on the story. So it became even more of a hassle for me nowadays, where I have some buddies who got me into Dead by Daylight, Helldivers, so many freaking different Steam games that I now play. Heck, even when I play GTA now, or GTA 5, which has become one of my favorite games, there's a lot of mechanics in there that you need to memorize, but at the same time, it's like riding a bike. Once you know it, you don't forget it. But it took so long for me to understand all the mechanics for these games, because I grew up without needing these mechanics. Hell, I still remember the days when, for the N64, you mostly just needed the A and B buttons. Everything else did not matter.
Yeah, and I would even say that when learning the mechanics become like especially the more complicated mechanics are, and learning them becomes more time consuming, then it kind of takes away the joy out of it. I know some people are going to listen to that and think that I'm just a noob, that I'm lazy, and yada yada yada, but at the end of the day, I still want to enjoy the actual game that I'm playing and not spend the majority of the time learning the knickknacks and, the technical specs and whatnot. So it becomes more of a chore than anything. And that's also kind of what I was going to get into as well, in that a lot of games these days compared to the old days, because they've become so much more complicated, they don't really feel like games in the sense that they become more like a chore than anything. What is your take on that?
I mean, that is also kind of true. So, let me see if I can explain this a little bit in my way. So, I have a lot of games that normally require daily gameplay, there are daily missions you have to do in order to grind it out. I can play Goddess of Victory Nikke every day, and I have been doing that for the past 2.5 years. I play that every day. I do all the daily stuff. But I don't get bored of it because of the story and a lot of the stuff that's in there, a lot of the lore. Versus Zenless Zone Zero, which I do play a lot, but I don't play it daily because, to me, it's not always as appealing. No offense to Hoyoverse or any of them. I can tell that they focus a lot on the graphics sides of things, like the graphics, the freaking character models, all of that kind of stuff. They focus on that a little bit more than they do story of Zenless Zone Zero. And for me, I don't like that too much, so I don't play it as much as some people would expect me to. It's become a chore to grind out the stuff that I want in that game, and then I have to remember for myself, I don't play this game as much as I do this other game, so why am I focused on playing this one daily for all this stuff when I'm probably not going to play this by next week?
Exactly, it's... I mean, you also... I mean, it's not something that the players themselves have to ask, but it's also this thing that the developers need to ask themselves as well, is that what are the actual players ultimately getting out of it? Other than, the really most dedicated hardcore ones, which, let's be honest, they're not the majority. In fact, they're a very small minority. But I guess to also add to that, I mean, we have to recognize that, and again, I can tell a lot of people are also going to disagree with this take here, but we have to recognize that most gamers, at the end of the day, they're not hardcore, dedicating their, entire lives 24/7 to grinding it out. Most gamers are casual in that they have normal lives, they have day jobs, and at the end of the day, after their day's worth of work, they just want to come home, plop their asses on the couch and just, turn their brains off and just have some casual fun. But when games, and we're not just talking about mechanics here, but just overall become way too much of a hassle to actually engage in, then it kind of... Again, the value is kind of questionable at that point. So, I know it's kind of a hot take here, but... yeah. Don't know if you have anything to add to that.
No, I don't think I do. I think we all got it out by now.
Yeah. And again, I know, it's gonna upset some people, that take is gonna upset some people, but, I mean, again, this is marketing 101, who are you ultimately trying to appeal to? I'm not discounting or questioning the value of these very complicated mechanics-heavy games, but we just have to recognize that the people that play those kinds of games are ultimately a very small, dedicated minority. So, yeah. But I mean, it's kind of... there's a similar debate going on in the movie, film, animation industry as well, in that, since we were talking about the Mario games, or Nintendo games more accurately, the Super Mario Galaxy movie was, I don't know if you saw it, but it wasn't the greatest movie, but at the same time, that movie was clearly dedicated for children. You know,
Okay. I'm gonna put my 2 cents in this. I haven't even seen the first one.
Okay.
So a lot of people have told me, like back at my work, they've told me that the first one was really good, and a lot of them recommended it to me. I don't know if they recommended it to me because they know I play games, they know I have a YouTube channel or what, but a lot of them recommended it to me. I still never bothered to see it. And by the time I thought to myself, maybe I will, it was already out of theaters. And then in walks the Mario Galaxy movie. I didn't want to go and see that because, I don't know, freaking I'm stupid. And plus, if I want to see Mario Galaxy, I can play Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on my Wii U. But a lot of people told me, like, a week after the movie came out, a lot of people told me it was garbage. Like, they all said that it was not worth it and it did not meet a lot of the expectations. For me, if I go and see it, I want to see if it follows a lot of the same logic as the original game.
Yeah, you're gonna be sorely disappointed on that end, which I'm not gonna spoil anything to you, but I will say that it conducts a lot of fan service, which is why I say that this movie was clearly dedicated for very young children who do not bother to check for, the lore accuracy or whether, like, it has a good story or whatnot. This is a movie for parents to basically turn on the iPad, just give it to their kids so they can keep them distracted for 2 hours. That's it.
Oh my god.
Like, it is not a serious movie. If you're like a hardcore Nintendo fanatic and a Mario fanatic who really, again, like, is dedicated to the lore and whatnot, you are going to be solely disappointed. This is a movie that's clearly dedicated for very young children. That's just turned your brain off kind of experience. So that's all I'm going to say.
Well, that deterred me more, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe when you find yourself, say, like, in a long haul flight, and you're looking for a movie to watch while you're in the airplane seat in front of those, like, little micro screens. Maybe then you can give it a watch for free, just to see what it's like. But I highly advise against you at least, like, taking any money out of your pocket to watch it, because it's totally not worth it.
You know what's great? When I'm done playing Undertale, I'm gonna freaking play Mario Galaxy on the channel. I don't care anymore. I might as well show people what a real freaking story's supposed to be.
Oh. Oh, man. You might get traumatized. Like, again, like, I don't want to turn this into, like, a movie review session here, but, I mean, it's just...
if it becomes a movie review, I don't mind at all. I've recently came back from seeing Obsession in the Backrooms.
Oh, I've yet to see those movies either, but... mainly because I don't have anybody to go to the movie theaters with me. Sad and lonely.
Go alone, who cares? More popcorn for you, you don't have to share.
Yeah, it's true. Well, that was one tangent there, but yeah. But anyways, what were we talking about before we got into the whole, like, Mario Galaxy movie? Oh yeah, this was the original point that I was trying to make, in that, like, again, like whether it's movies like the Super Mario Galaxy movie or any other Disney movie, let's be honest, like, the point I was trying to make was that if you're a serious movie critic who's really trying to analyze the story and whatnot, it's probably kind of pointless to dedicate your time and energy to dissecting and unraveling the storytelling of these movies that are clearly meant for a turn your brain off moment, clearly meant for children, And that's kind of what I was also trying to apply to video games as well, in that at the end of the day, most people are just looking for a turn your brain off, chill, session to unwind after a very long day's worth of work. So, and that most people do not have the time, energy, nor the passion to really engage in this very hardcore video game experience. That's what I was ultimately trying to get at, so, yeah. But that being said, though, I have noticed that like not only are video games being increasingly becoming more complicated, but again they're also becoming more of a chore as well. You know, we don't really have that simplistic experience from the early days of gaming, say like the early 2010s and late 2000s. And because games are increasingly becoming more complicated and bigger in terms of content, like again, not just in terms of content, but also literally in terms of like text spec wise, you know, the amount of gigabytes needed to download a lot of these games. They've also increased in price as well. You know, we're no longer at the days where we can just purchase a standalone copy for $30 to $40, and now the prices have gone up to $60 to $70. And honestly, I can see the day when eventually they're going to go up to $100 as well, which is honestly kind of a travesty. I know we're counting inflation as well, but still, it's like I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. What say you on this development?
Oh, it has gotten really bad, especially nowadays. If you look at, I'm going to use Nintendo as another example for this, so all you Nintendo haters or Nintendo enjoyers freaking deal with it. When they announced that Metroid, well, I can't remember what the friggin' last one that they did was called, or whatever, the 2D scroller. When they announced that that one was coming to Switch, I didn't buy it right away because I was waiting for it to go on sale, because it costs like $80, $85 over here. It has still yet to come down in price. It's still sitting up there about $80, $85. And then you have Nintendo Switch 2 stuff that's coming out, which is already upwards of $90 Canadian, mind you. The prices are slowly getting up. Versus, again, here on PC, everything is more or less the same price, and you only pay extra if you want to get some of the DLCs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's really thanks to Steam, let's be honest, because Gabe Newell, our Lord and Savior, is actually happens to be one of the gamers, so he knows, you know, exactly what we want and whatnot. I guess the only flip side on the PC end is that, again, to harken back to our earlier conversation about, you know, PC parts and whatnot, you know, PCs are also becoming increasingly expensive to build as well. That being said, though, I mean, obviously, a PC has much more functions than gaming, and like once you get that PC set up, you're kind of set. Honestly, you know, everything else is really just a software thing, you know, on Steam and whatnot. So yeah, but with that being said, though, here's kind of a radical question here for you.
Okay.
Do you think a game industry crash is coming?
I honestly can't say, because one of the biggest things I've noticed with quote-unquote gamers, they're arguing in regards to game ownership. So I'm gonna hit you one of these. If you go, say, to Walmart and you buy Grand Theft Auto 5 right now off the shelf, do you own that copy?
Ooh. Well, I'm not too familiar with GTA, so I don't feel too qualified to.
This is just an example. It's just an example.
Okay. I'd say yes.
Okay. So, one thing that Nintendo has done, yes, I'm bringing up Nintendo again. According to Nintendo, you don't pay to own the game. You pay to have the right to play the game. Meaning that they can, whenever they want, take the game away from you. And with these newer consoles, they can. They can simply just ban your account or your console's specific model number, and you can no longer play that game. So, I don't think a big game crash is coming, but I feel like what's the word I'm looking for? A stalemate, or is probably the best way to describe it, is coming. Where people are gonna just start dropping from buying certain games or from a certain company. Even now, like, yeah, Nintendo's like a billion-trillion-dollar company, so they can handle the hit. But at the same time, the revenue's slowly gonna start going down, shares are gonna start going down, stocks go down, etc., etc. And if Nintendo starts going down, people are also gonna start questioning, okay, how come these other companies are also not getting questioned either? GameCube, Microsoft, and Sony also going in as part of the big three that also start getting questioned.
Since you mentioned that specific example with Nintendo, I want to actually get a little bit into that before I move to the make my the point I was going to make. But I'm curious, does Nintendo use subscription model?
Nintendo has a online subscription similar to that of Xbox and Sony, where you can pay to play games online, but you can also pay with that same subscription to get other games onto your console. So you're able to get a subscription with Nintendo where you pay monthly. You can play a lot of online games nowadays, and then you can also download a lot of remastered, quote-unquote, games from previous consoles and put them onto your Switch. So you can get games from GameCube and 64 that have been tweaked and remastered for this day and age.
Okay. I mean, the whole like live subscription versus, you know, permanent ownership, I mean, that's a whole like topic, debate in itself, but at least from what I've seen, a lot of live subscriptions are mostly applied to, again, like online experiences, especially multiplayer experiences, where, yeah, which, I mean, I could see where they're coming from in that on live services are constantly being updated and whatnot, so, you know, perhaps for them, it's a subscription model may fit the better business model for them, but where it doesn't sit me right with, though, is when they're using subscription models for, say, single-player experiences that are just a one-time experience, honestly. And the fact that you have to pay to have the right to play, pay... God. The fact that you have to make payments to have the right to play some of these titles is honestly kind of sounds very scummy. So, I mean, I don't know where you sit with on that, but probably I would guess that you're not really on board with it either.
I mean, I've slowly stopped playing Nintendo games, as you've seen. I don't even buy any of the newer games or newer consoles, except maybe that Metroid if it ever goes on sale. But even if I do play Nintendo games, I play the old ones before Nintendo started like gatekeeping or putting everything behind a paywall and everything. So yeah, I've even said it. I'll go back and I will play my Super Mario Galaxy on my channel. I will go back. I will play on my GameCube. I will play on my N64. I will go on my Wii, even my Wii U. But I'm always worried to go anywhere past the Wii U because that's Switch and Switch 2 territory, and Nintendo can get you instantly for that. You could be doing nothing and Nintendo can just ban you. Which, granted, that goes for any of the big three, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. But Nintendo is the most stingiest because of their whole family-friendly household kind of gaming style. But if they catch you like doing anything wrong, they can easily flag your system and you can no longer use it. Those $800 that you spent on a console, now it's just in a very expensive paperweight.
I mean, Nintendo's always been kind of like that, where they're very like hamstrung on like their IP protection and whatnot. I mean, even like Let's Players were, I'm sure you've seen this, but even Let's Players were being targeted for just uploading gameplay footage of Mario games. And that,
oh yeah,
I mean, it was perfectly harmless, you know, but Nintendo being Nintendo, I mean, it kind of dwells, you know, a little like deeper into the whole like Japanese IP laws and whatnot, but still, I mean, yeah, it's they're pretty ruthless on that. So
hang on, give me 2 seconds. My dogs are barking again. Hang on, I'll be right back. I think they're yelling at the mailman.
Oh, go ahead.
2,000 years later.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah. We'll probably cut that portion out of the in the editing part, so it's fine. So, yeah. For the viewers, we had to take a little break there, you know, for business. So,
sure, we'll call it that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So where were we? Oh yeah, Nintendo. Yeah. So, yeah. I was mentioning how Nintendo's pretty ruthless when it comes to cracking down on their like IP usage and whatnot. So I mean, they've always been like that, and again, like, we've seen them target Let's Players online, you know, for simply uploading game footage. So, yeah, I mean, Which is why, like, I mean, as much as I would love to see you upload like Super Mario Galaxy walkthroughs on your channel, I would be very careful on that end. So.
I'll do it. In case you've forgotten, my title nowadays is Duke of Degenerates. I like pushing the boundaries.
Ah. It's one thing to push the boundaries of morality, and another thing to push the boundaries of finance. So.
It's not like I make money off of it anyway, so I'll be fine either way.
So, yeah, but yeah, I guess to pivot back to the whole like topic of a potential game industry crash. With the trajectory the entire like wider game industry is going, with like the hardware becoming much more expensive and gaming in general just becoming less and less affordable, in a way I think it's gonna be inevitable, because eventually the consumers are just gonna be fed up with it and say, we're not, buying your new shit anymore, and we're just gonna stick to playing old games that we already own and basically voting with our wallets.
I mean, if you look at a lot of the things nowadays, where even a lot of game companies are blaming the player base for their game failing, they aren't appealing to a lot of their player base, and they don't listen to their player base at all. And when their game tanks after spending millions of dollars developing it, it's suddenly our fault because we chose not to play it or not to give it a good review. I don't see the point in it at all.
Are these developers forgetting the fundamental rule when it comes to business, and that you never blame your customers?
I mean, as a guy who sadly works retail as his day job, I'm not going to say the customer's always right, because nobody ever fully quotes the whole thing. The customer's always right in taste. I can tell you you're wrong, but I'm not going to tell you, say for example, I have a customer who comes up to me and they want to buy a pink shirt. I'm not going to tell them buy the black one instead. No, because it's their taste. If they want the pink shirt, they can have the pink shirt. But if I tell them that we're out of stock and they start arguing with me that the website says it's not, the customer's not right in that case. So it's not necessarily them blame. It's not necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for? They can blame the player base, but they're not blaming them for the right reasons. The player base is not at fault here. So they can't really use the player base excuse.
Well, let me rephrase that. I'm not saying that the consumers are always right. I mean, obviously nobody's 100% right. That would just be ridiculous. But that being said, though, just from a marketing perspective, it's really not sound marketing to basically blame your consumer base for a product failing, because ultimately they're the ones that purchase your products, and for you to throw them under the bus, you're basically destroying your revenue base. So, like from a practical consideration, that's just again, like, not very wise. But secondly, I mean, in the end though, these developers are the ones that ultimately serve us, the players, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So,
they rely on the player base and the customers to bring in the revenue. So once you start blaming us, we're not going to be inclined to buy it anymore, because you're just going to blame us for it.
Exactly. I mean, again, like, people ultimately vote with their wallets. So,
yeah.
I mean, at the end, even though the customer isn't always right, at the end of the day, though, you got to give people what they want for them to purchase your products. And when your product fails and then you blame your customer base on why they're wrong for not purchasing said product, then I don't know, that's a surefire way for you to sabotage your own future. So, and yeah, again, like, given the current trajectory it's going, that it kind of seems like the direction we're going, and that, I'm not saying that a game crash is inevitable, but I mean, things are not looking good for the future. At least that's where I stand. So
yeah.
And that's even considering the fact that I don't know if you keep up with a lot of the gaming like reveals in the summer, but that's even considering the fact that I liked a lot of games that were revealed in, say, the Summer Games Fest last week, as well as the Xbox showcase. So just some of the things, just to name a few that I'm excited for. I'm very excited for the new Halo remake that's coming out. Also, the new Resident Evil, the new Tomb Raider remake as well. A lot of remakes for whatever reason, but yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you are excited for any particular new titles that are coming out this year. If you would be inclined to share.
I haven't had the opportunity to see what's being released. Like, I've seen small snippets. Like, I've seen Resident Evil, and I have seen for Halo. I know Nintendo Direct. The Nintendo Direct happened a few days ago. They've announced a lot of Legend of Zelda games and a couple of remakes. Even the new Deltarune chapter that's meant to come out by Toby Fox. But until I finish Undertale, I'm not touching Deltarune.
Yeah, I expected a lot more reveals from Nintendo this year, but it didn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know it takes a lot of time to develop like these Mario games. Like, what was that one Mario game? I forgot it. Like, was it Super Mario like Universe or whatever? The name loses me.
Wonder?
I'm sorry.
Super Mario Wonder?
What was it called? No, it was that one like super big open world Mario game that was like very similar to Galaxy.
Odyssey.
Oh, Odyssey! Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that game was clearly a very ambitious project for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Have you played it?
I have played it, yes. I will say, there was a distinct lack of Rosalina.
I mean, isn't Rosalina just a Galaxy thing, or...?
I mean, they're going through space and other galaxies. A lot of people anticipated that Rosalina would be in it.
Yeah, that's a fair point, yeah. But if you're disappointed by that, then again, like, you're gonna be solely disappointed by the Galaxy movie as well.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll leave it to yourself to experience the disappointment in person.
The corrupted judge now judges movies. Dear God.
Actually, since you mentioned that, if you could take a brief pivot here, I think the Corrupted Judges series has a lot of potential, like, for your channel, and I'm wondering, like, if you plan on making any more of the judging series.
Okay, so the judging series was a project that I actually was really happy to do. And the first one that I did when I did Helltaker, finally getting that out, because that was the quote-unquote passion project. And then everything went downhill when I had to freaking do the exam taker chapter, and I started reliving all the stupidity of that god-awful chapter. But as time went on, I pivoted, I met a lot of friends, I started playing Nikkei, and I ended up kind of, I guess you could say, relaunching the judging series by reviewing a lot of the Facebook pages that a lot of my friends use, and kind of give my 2 cents on them and everything like that. Even now, though, I've done 2 videos, and because of those 2 videos, they have been doing nothing but memes, and have made me the freaking boss of their little community now, even though I don't have any qualification for it. Now they are asking me to get part 3 out before November, because they like the joke of me getting these series videos out before GTA 6. So, odds are, I'm going to try my best to do it, because I already have an idea of what I want to do. It's just a matter of finding time to do it. And as well as doing maybe another different judging series, because I don't like editing, if you didn't know that. I don't like editing as much as I used to nowadays, because it's time consuming for me, and time is something I don't have, which is why I do a lot of I've been live streaming a lot the past couple months to make up for it. So I don't mind doing another judging video for the FBCN, as they like to call themselves, and possibly maybe one more before November, just to keep the joke going that I got this out before GTA 6.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair, but I'm just saying that the judging series has a lot of potential, and it's you could really talk about anything, like, not just with games. So, yeah, just a little idea that I wanted to throw out. But I'm sure you've contemplated this a lot more than I have, so yeah. So.
Probably the closest thing right now that I've done to the judging series is when I did Hacker Striker's Second Circle mod / game thing that they created, pretty much just judging it live.
Oh, I remember that because I hopped in and I kind of stirred shit up with that guy. If you remember. Yeah, no, Hacker Striker, if you're somehow listening to this podcast right now, I fully stand by what I wrote. I love pineapple pizza. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And yeah, you Italians, you can suck it. You know?
I play freaking Helldivers with him once in a while, so if I have the opportunity, I'll bring this up with him again.
Yeah, no, okay, I know we're taking another tangent here, now about food here, but I've mentioned this multiple times in my own live stream as well, but, like, genuinely, like, what the hell is so egregious about Hawaiian pizza? And number one, like, you can blame it on the Canadians because, you know, the person who invented Hawaiian pizza is a Canadian. Just a fun fact for you guys to know. So, yeah.
Okay, look, hang on. Let the record show. Just because we're nice doesn't mean we're always right in mind. Okay? Keep in mind, we threw food cans at the friggin' enemy! You think we know what to put on a pizza?
In this case, you guys are actually 100% correct on it. Again, I know it's gonna piss off a lot of Italians, but again, I fully, 200% stand by on this. I mean, first of all, the typical argument that I hear a lot when it comes to, pineapple pizza not being authentic Italian pizza is that, you know, again, it's not authentic to what pizza's really supposed to be like. Well, if you're gonna use that argument, then you might as well throw margarita pizza also out of the door, because guess what? Margarita pizza uses tomatoes, and guess what? Tomatoes are not native to Europe. They're native to the American continent. So whatever authentic Italian pizza that Italians love to champion as the true pizza, it's not authentic either, because you guys use a whole load of ingredients from around the world that are outside of Europe. So the point I'm trying to make is that enough of this gatekeeping bullshit. You know, people should be allowed to enjoy food however they want. You know, and as food becomes popular around the world, that's just a natural progression where people come up with their own local variations of it. So, yeah. Therefore, I mean, pineapple pizza really isn't unique in that regard. There's nothing uniquely atrocious or un-Italian about it. I mean, if you're gonna measure that by how authentically Italian it is, you may as well throw out 90% of all the pizza variations that exist around the world and just stick to dough and cheese. That's it. Is that the kind of world that you guys want to live in?
This will bring up a bit of something else. I know we're going completely off topic, but honestly, I don't care right now. Dessert pizza.
Dessert pizza, okay.
Okay, so at my job, we also have one half of the place is retail, the other half is food or whatever. You can go pick up pizza, wings, or whatever you want. It's an Italian supermarket basically. So one of the things that they created at my work is called the chocolate pizza, which is just a pizza crust with Nutella and bananas on it. Now, that sounds good on paper. I have yet to eat it, because when they came out with that, I was on my heavy diet, losing 50, 60 pounds. So I did not get to try it back then. And even now, even though I'm not really on the diet nowadays, I still don't want to try it, because the more I think about it, I don't want a freaking pizza made crust, and then you put a bunch of sweet stuff all over it, and then a banana. So I'm not a fan of dessert style pizzas. Pizza is pizza, like how math is math.
I mean,
oh, don't you start.
It sounds weird, but at the same time, given that I'm such an ardent defender of pineapple pizza, I would be a hypocrite to denounce that as well. So I have to be consistent with my logic, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, do you like bananas or do you like pineapple?
I like both!
What is wrong with you? This is the people I employ? My God! I'm denying your PTO.
Hey, one of my favorite pizzas that I actually tried was I mean, it wasn't a dessert pizza per se, but it was like very unconventional. It included jam and kiwi.
Huh?
Yeah. So
So pizza crust with jam and kiwi.
yep, jam instead of tomato sauce.
What kind of jam? What kind of jam?
I think it was like grape jam.
Oh, for Christ. Jesus Christ. I'm doing my best not to swear because I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on your channel right now. Freaking, because you know me, I swear like a sailor on my freaking thing.
Oh, I do as well, but it's whatever.
Okay, hang on. I've been avoiding the question for so long because I've never given my opinion on pineapple on pizza. Or maybe I have and I forgot. It's not my first choice. If it's the only thing there and I want pizza, I will take it. But it is not my first choice. However, putting jam and kiwi on a freaking pizza crust that is not meant to have freaking sweets and fruits on it, I feel like this is a crime against nature.
I mean, you say that, but again, like, I know I'm gonna piss off a lot of people, like, especially Italians, by saying this, but surprisingly, it worked.
Oh my God.
And who's and I look, I know, again, I know, like, sweets on pizza is, again, like, you know, like, it's not something that people typically think of, but at the same time, though, who says that sweet and savory cannot go together? Like, just in general. So, and I don't see why that doesn't apply to pizza as well. Again, like, I know, like, Hacker Striker, if he's listening to this, he's just, like, absolutely mauling right now. He's...
Tag him on Twitter, he'll watch it. Just tell him to skip to freaking, like, this time slot or whatever. Just tag him on Twitter. Special shout out to Hacker Striker at blank blank. Make sure he starts right at the pizza conversation.
Oh man, he's probably thinking this in his head right now. I'm again, like, I know I know it's very mean to do a little accent here, but it's probably thinking, oh, Mr. Signor Lorenzo, is he being a racist against Italians with pineapple pizza? Mamma mia! Baba. It's like Mario. It's like, let's get him.
Well, Italy wasn't mad at you before, they are now.
Well, I did actually visit Italy last fall. I don't know if you were aware of that.
I'm aware. I saw your I've seen your other channel where you displayed you going freaking to the airport and such.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, but fun fact, like, we did a little tour in a winery or vineyard, excuse me, in Tuscany, and we had a little guide. They basically guided us through. And at the end of the tour, I legit, like, went up to him and asked him, like, you know, what is your opinion on pineapple pizza? And his smile just instantly disappeared. And this was a very cheery dude. Yeah. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
T. Lawrence killing Italians since freaking 2020.
Well, why 2020?
I don't freaking know when you started.
I
have the memory of a goldfish.
No, my YouTube channel actually specifically started in, like, February 3rd of 2024. Yeah. So, but even before YouTube, I was already, like, again, like, ardently defending pineapple pizza, and honestly, I will stand on that hill. Like, you know what?
What would Justice say to this? What is wrong with you?
Justice, honestly, would actually be on board with me.
I'm actually curious. I'm wondering if there's a comic out there that freaking Van Ripper made where Justice actually accepts pineapple on pizza and everybody freaking shuns her.
Honestly, I can see that totally happening, especially with the new flurry of Helltaker comics that's been coming out recently.
Oh yeah, he's making another freaking comic series for Helltaker.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm glad he's doing it because honestly, like, Awaria didn't really do it for me, and I think he's kind of getting that memo as well. So, yeah.
Look, as a man who played Awaria on the freaking hardest difficulty and freaking pulled his hair out twice trying to freaking beat that goddamn last level, I like the gameplay. The story was interesting. I have read the freaking art book. It is not bad. Ooh, maybe I should do a judging series on that. Anyways, that's a topic for another.
No, please do. No, honestly, like it would be very entertaining to kind of very similar to the Second Circle style, where you just read through all the Helltaker comics, and yeah, basically insert your own little input on it. So that's actually a very good video idea. You know, it doesn't have to be super scripted
now
either.
I have another one I gotta do before November.
Hey, the more video ideas, the better. Honestly, I'd rather have a shitload of ideas, you know, as opposed to having no ideas at all and wondering what the hell am I supposed to do. So, yeah, it's more of a content lifeline if you want to call it. But hey, so more the merrier. Come again?
Where were we? We freaking diverted the conversation to a whole new different branch, and now I have no idea where we left off.
I don't either. Yeah, the whole debate about pineapple pizza really did kind of throw us off the trail.
See what you've done, hacker. See what your legacy has done. We went from to somewhat wholesome gaming conversations to food.
This is what I always tell people, is that one thing that people don't realize that causes, like, stirs up an absolute shit show argument like this, like other than politics and religion, is actually food. You would be surprised with how like heated up like conversations can get when people talk, like, debate about food, and this is just a perfect example. Granted, pineapple pizza in general is like a very, you know, controversial topic in itself. That being said, though, I've got some other like hot food takes, if you want to call it, that will, you know, upset some people, so we'll leave it at that.
One of these days, I will bring you to my channel, and you can just go off on whatever you want.
I am still waiting for that moment, yeah, you know.
If I ever find time and something we can actually do, because I don't think, actually, because you don't play consoles, you play on PC, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
You ever thought about getting Helldivers?
I have, yeah. Well, actually, what's the price on Steam?
I think it's like it was $30. I think it was $30 for me.
Oh, that's a sell. That's nothing. Yeah. Well, that's.
Remember, it's Canadian.
$30 Canadian.
That's what I remember.
Oh, then that's even cheaper in US dollars. Then. Yeah.
Maybe.
No, it is. Yeah. Because I think like one. Let me just look it up. Like one USD to Canadian. One US dollar is 1.4 Canadian dollars. So instead of 30, it'll be like around $20 US dollars. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go on Steam and check for yourself now if you want. Freaking, I don't know how much of this you're gonna cut out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, once we're done recording here, I'll probably check it out on Steam. So yeah.
Oh God, then we're gonna end up going on a mission. Freaking hacker's gonna show up out of nowhere, and then you two are just gonna be fighting each other.
I'm very much looking forward. It's the battle of pizzas.
All right, you heard him, hacker.
You know, honestly, if the Italian border police also listens to this, you know, podcast here, and some 0.1% chance they do. Actually, no, Hacker Strike is probably going to report me to the Italian police after this. But anyways, if they somehow listen to this and like they ban me from ever entering Italy, I mean, you know what? I made peace with that, so it's
you die on the hill you stand on.
Yeah. So. And honestly, unlike politics and religion, like food, like in itself is not like something that should be controversial, which is why I have zero issues spouting off a bunch of like bullshit hot takes about food. So it's whatever. Yeah, I will have.
I'm about to give you more editing work to do. Freaking future Lawrence, when you're editing this for the entire food conversation, put a chef's hat on my head.
Yep, will do. I'll even put one on myself as well.
No, you get the mustache and the hat.
Oh, yes. It's the Italian curly mustache. You know,
This podcast has completely gone off the rails, and we're just over over an hour and a half in.
Yeah. Hey, that's
Oh yeah, check your OBS, see if it's died yet, because I know sometimes it'll cut out like after an hour.
Oh no, I have my OBS like open right in front of me, so I'm always watching it to make sure that it's recording, and it's still going. Yeah. Volume levels seem to be okay, and we're recording an hour and 16 minutes and 5 seconds. So.
All right, let's see if we can try and get back on topic before we start going off again on something else.
Hey, I mean that's kind of what podcasts are about, though, isn't that? Like, this isn't a formal interview, like what we see on news channels. It's kind of meant to be free flow. So I don't mind going off tangents like this. And honestly, like with the pizza ranting session, it's better for the viewers as well, you know, because I'm sure not everybody's interested in gaming topics, so.
I don't know, because the way I've done my podcast back then, Corrupted After Dark, my buddies, I've said this before, my buddies had no idea I'm recording until after I'm done, because I have to legally let them know that I have recorded. I will let them know after I've recorded everything, because I can have, like, an hour's worth of recording, and I could just cut it up into, like, 4 or 5 different episodes, which you have seen before, which I'm assuming you have seen before.
Yeah, like, was it, like, with that, like, I forget their names, but, like, 2 other, like, co-hosts you had?
We, High Viper 01 and Silver Raccoon. Basically, I consider those 2 idiots my brothers, even though they're in Texas.
Oh, Texas, huh? In Yeehaw land.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It kind of reminds me of the one
I just realized that.
SpongeBob episode. It's like, hey Patrick, what am I? It's like, what are you? I'm Texas. It's like, what's the difference? It's like, oh no, he was like, yeah. It's like, what are you, stupid? It's like, yeah. It's like, I'm Texas. It's like, whatever. No.
You're gonna have the most violent freaking state on you now.
I actually like Texas, you know, believe it or not. I visited there once. I went to Houston, specifically, because
okay.
Yeah, I was the biggest again, like, back to Halo. Like, Halo was having a convention in Houston, so it kind of gave me an excuse to visit down there. So, and I liked it. So, yeah. I guess to get back into food as well. I really love Tex-Mex, actually, believe it or not. You know.
I don't think I've ever had like Tex-Mex. I don't want to say authentic Tex-Mex because that's not authentic, not even close.
I mean, in itself, it really isn't authentic because it's a fusion of different cultures. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, I genuinely enjoyed my time down there. So I don't know where the 2 co-hosts live specifically. Don't say it. You know, I don't want to. You know. I'm not gonna
dox them like that. I know where they live. Only if they ever piss me off enough, then I will quote unquote dox them.
I mean, it's such a massive.
The perks of being the boss is that I have all the power.
Well, the thing with Texas though is that it's such a massive state, and so I mean, even if you say that you live in Texas, I mean, nobody's ever gonna find you. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with you in Canada. Like, I know you kind of, you know, got freaked out when I mentioned, like, the specific province that you live in. But again, like, Canadian provinces are, like, the size of 4 American states. So, again, finding anybody in any province is gonna be like finding a needle in a haystack. Like, so.
I don't know. I remember I was working one day, like, doing my day job and stuff, because I work curbside sometimes. So I'm doing a freaking delivery to a customer's car, giving them their groceries. Their freaking kid pops up from the back seat because they have a SUV, so I can see in the back seat. He looks at me because I was talking to his mom at the time, and he's like, he tells me, your voice sounds familiar. And I did not have the mask on. And as I'm still talking, like, telling the kid, I have no idea what you're talking about, I probably just have one of those voices. He snaps his fingers and instantly says, corrupted judge, and my face dropped.
What the?
Because this kid is like no more than maybe 11 years old, and I can see the mom like looking at the review, like, who's that? I'm like, what am I gonna do? Because you know my content. My content is not safe for children.
I was gonna say
this like 11-year-old kid is watching my content, and I've explained this to my Texas brothers before. This kid is watching my content. I look at him like dead in the eyes. I'm like, I have no idea who you're talking about. yeah, you're him. I'm like, I don't know what you mean. Yeah, say the line. I'm sorry. Yeah, say the line. I'm literally just sitting there flabbergasted, like, what freaking line is he talking about? I say a bunch of absurd, scandalous things. I'm sitting here like trying so hard to deflect the situation. His mom starts getting suspicious, like, suspicious, like, do you know this man? The kid's like, yeah, he makes videos on the internet. I'm like, no, I don't. It became this whole thing, and eventually I'm like rushing to like get all the groceries in her freaking back in her trunk. Meanwhile, the mom and the son are questioning me like, who is this guy? Eventually, I finished everything. I said, okay, bye, have a good. I slammed the trunk closed, and I never slam it closed because they don't like that. I slammed it closed, and I never run back into my work as fast as I did on that day.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so to the kid, if for whatever reason you're watching this, stop watching my content. Well, thank you, but stop watching my content.
Or at the very least, wait until you're 18, because it's like, yeah, this is not neither of us are child-friendly, content creators, so. But, oh my god.
And I haven't even cracked, 600 subs, so the fact that there's this freaking 11-year-old kid out there in Canada who's spreading the word like, oh yeah, freaking corrupted judge works at the grocery store. Gee, thanks. As if I don't out myself enough already.
I can't even imagine how mortified you felt, like, by again, like
it's one thing to meet a fan, but a fan that's freaking so underaged for the content that I make.
Yeah.
Is this how VTubers feel when their freaking models are so perverted or whatever, and an 8-year-old says hi?
Yeah. Oh my, holy crap. Well, I think
that's also one of the reasons why I don't do facecam anymore, and I stick with the PNG model just in case. Because even with the mask on, like, I still have a somewhat recognizable like shape of a head or whatever. So it's easier if I just stopped using the facecam.
You would be surprised with how savvy people can be, because I mean, there were moments when people would use the reflection on someone's eyes to dox people. Like, that's how nifty people are. So, yeah. But in any case, though, I think you handled the situation very well. Just denial, constant denial, and yeah, just pretend as if nothing happened. But yeah, but. Man,
I don't think I've seen that kid or the mom since, and if I have, either they not stop mentioning it or whatever. So either they stopped coming over here thinking I'm some kind of weirdo who makes videos for children, which is definitely not the case. YouTube, don't freaking touch me again. Freaking, I don't need another channel of mine taken down. It was a whole freaking ordeal, and it's also one I didn't want to bring it up on my channel, because if I bring it up on my channel, the internet is going to go ballistic, and you know how the internet is. They blow anything out of proportion.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair with you, though, it's not like you're creating anything like explicitly 18+ content either, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. I mean, if you're going to go by...
look at it.
Yeah, but still, I mean, if you're going to go by that logic, like anything that's technically not, like, part of the... What do you call it? Like, the kids YouTuber, whatever? Yeah. Like
YouTube Kids?
YouTube Kids, yeah, thank you. Anything that's not part of YouTube Kids is technically treated as an 18+ channel anyway, so, I mean, even me, like, I don't do anything, like, lewd or suggestive or whatnot, but I do drop the occasional curse bomb and whatnot, so, I mean, so I'm not exactly...
70% of my channel is quote-unquote lewd or degenerate content. I play Helltaker, for Chrysler's sake!
With Helltaker,
I played the Second Circle Valentine's Day mod!
That was tame, come on.
Modius in a freaking bath towel is tame?
I mean, as long as it covers up, like, anything below her shoulders, I mean, yeah. I mean, there are dresses out there that are shaped like that. I mean,
my commentary did not help in that freaking live stream either.
That is fair, yeah. But still, I mean, look, I think you're being a bit too hard on yourself. I mean, unless you're like, again, unless you're like explicitly creating corn or anything like that, it's really, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much.
No, that's behind a paywall.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh god.
You gotta pay extra for that one.
What is happening?
I don't know. At this point, you've completely lost control. This is my podcast.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't mind that. I mean, sure, we had a lot of interesting things to talk about earlier with like gaming stuff, but I don't mind this free form, just let this thing wherever, go wherever kind of format either. So, I mean, it's a little bit more relaxing. I mean, in a way, this is our after dark session, so even though I'm not
sure,
really,
you can go with that, I guess.
Yeah, even though we're not completely wrapped up with the podcast either, but yeah. But I will say though, the closest I got, well, not even the closest, I mean, it did happen. The only time that I actually met my quote-unquote fans is when I flew to Europe, to see Cap. So I'm sure you're aware of that as well. But not only that, but yeah, Cap and I, we met up in Czechia, and his country. And then we took a train trip to another city, like out east, where we also met up with Opagamagnit and Lornor. I don't know if you recognize those names either.
I remember lore knower. I don't know freaking hippopotamus or whatever they're called.
Hippopotamus? Opagamagnit, if you're listening to this podcast right now, that's your new name now. I'm gonna call you Hippopotamus. You're a hippopotamus now.
Can't blame me. He decided to do that. It's not my fault anymore.
Yeah. But we took a train trip out east, and we met those two, and that was not on my bingo card of last year, but somehow all the pieces just came together, and and it's come to the point where those three, they're not like they're beyond fans at this point. They're like, I would say they're like, what do I call it? They're my consultants. We'll put it that way.
Consultants.
Yep.
They're not fans. They're not friends. They're not even acquaintances. They're consultants.
Yep. Hey, it sounds more prestigious, does it not?
I never thought there'd be a word lower than acquaintance. Consultants. Make them sound like disgruntled employees.
Yeah. But but we had an amazing time though, for sure. So, yeah, and I'm looking to repeat that kind of experience as well with some other compadres that I know. In fact, with you and I, we're practically neighbors, So if there ever
refuse to cross that border.
That's fine. I don't mind coming over to Ontario, to I don't want.
I refuse to let you cross my border.
I already did 2 years ago, so it already happened.
Yes, but now I have more influence.
Last time I went to Canada, I was at Tobermory. I don't know if you recognize that place.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, it's a camping ground basically. Yeah, so yeah. So, yeah. I've also been to Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, which that was something. Yeah.
Pretty sure I'm like an hour away from Niagara Falls, so if I knew you were there that day, I probably would have like just drove up.
But I was like in middle school, so that was like years ago. But yeah. But
one day.
Yeah. But on a serious note, though, yeah. Whenever I visit Canada, it honestly doesn't really feel that different, especially from where I live. Because again, I also live like very close to the Canadian border, so like you can barely notice any differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the price changes.
Actually, I'd like your since we both live in like very big countries, I'd like to know your take on this as well. But what I've noticed is that like the differences between countries aren't really that big, especially like neighboring countries, and rather the differences are more so between like urban and rural, if that makes sense. Like, for example, you and I are probably more similar than say you would be to someone from Vancouver, or me with someone from California. Does that make sense to you?
Are you saying you're also a large fat man who lives in a basement?
I do sort of live in a basement, though. You're half right on that.
Enough.
Yeah. No, but like I have visited Vancouver as well for like an airport layover, and yeah, like the people from Vancouver and people from Ontario are like not day and night difference. And same thing with where I live and people out in California. I probably have more in common. Come again?
Don't get me started on California.
Same here as well, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I probably have more in common with a Canadian from Ontario than I do have with someone from California. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what your take is on like the whole like geographical differences thing, but I do think like some of the differences like they like to pout are kind of overrated. So, but again, that's just my experience.
I don't travel as much as I would like to, so I'm completely out of the loop.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Well, didn't you say that I mean, if you don't mind me like delving a little bit deeper into your background, didn't you say that you're actually not born in Canada or whatever?
I was born in Canada. But
okay, never mind.
But my parents weren't.
Okay.
So, I was born in Canada, but I was raised Latino.
Okay. Do you mind sharing the country or?
Nah, it's more fun to let people figure it out.
Okay, that's fine. But
I already know what everyone's first guesses are gonna be.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna mention it either. So yeah, but I mean, we're kind of in a similar boat there as well because my parents weren't born in the U.S. So I mean, and I'll also like leave it to the people to figure it out. Yeah, so we're
secretly Italian, aren't you?
Nope. Not even an ounce of Italian blood, which
that's why you hate Italian food the way you do. You weren't born Italian. This is why you add insult to injury by adding fruit to your freaking dinners.
Ooh. If you think I'm saying mean things about Italians, then you should like visit Europe and see like what other European people are talking about Italians. They're.
No, I'm friends with a lot of Italians at work. Heck, my quote unquote work wife is Italian, so I get an earful constantly.
Are they like actually Italian or are they like Italian Canadians?
They were born in Italy.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Oh boy! Don't mention my name in front of them. Oh.
I will send them the link to this podcast with timestamps.
You know what? Like, actually, like, don't mention my name specifically, but just mention to them, like, hey, one of my YouTube buddies loves pineapple pizza, and see their reaction to it. Oh, that would be
I'm gonna get crucified by simply being associated with you.
Well, I mean, I am friends with an not like an actual Italian, but an Italian American from New York who I'm actually visiting later in August. So she hasn't killed me yet. So
keyword is yet.
Yet, yeah.
Wait till you see this episode.
Yeah. I mean, this. I will have to watch my tone when I visit New York, though, because yeah, as you know, New York is full of Italians, and yeah. You know, even though even though Italian Americans in New York are not as Italian as they think they are. Here's another another jab at them. That being said, though, if there's one thing Italian Americans and Italians in Italy can agree on is that they like the Hawaiian pizza is like the Antichrist.
Pretty much at this point.
Yeah. So, man. Oh man. Yeah. Not that I think about it, I think the reason why we started going off all these tangents, like starting with like my rants about Italian pizzas, because we were talking about Steam, with like the whole like gaming industry status and whatnot. You mentioned Helldivers, you mentioned Hacker Striker, and then that's when I went completely off the trails. So yeah.
See, Hacker, this is your fault.
Now I remember.
If I remember correctly, and this is pertaining to Helldivers, so it's gaming, so it's still related. In Helldivers, there's a grenade called the pineapple. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to throw it at him the next time we play.
Oh, man. Yeah, one of these days I really am gonna get blacklisted by the Italian government. You know, like Hacker Striker is already building up a case file to.
Well, we don't know the influence he has in Italy. For all we know, he's the ambassador.
He very well could be. He very well could be the son of, I don't know, what of the like high-ranking like ministers or whatnot. Anything could be it.
You mean I now have the freaking amazing ability to say I one-shotted the son of Italy's ambassador?
Hey, if you're gonna gain notoriety, go out with style. You know.
No, because I remember I think it was the last time we played Helldivers together. He came to help me with a job or whatever. He's talking to me in-game text because he doesn't use a mic. I remember he says hi to me. I pressed the wrong button. I accidentally punched him with the butt of my gun, and he died on impact.
Yes! Oh man. At this rate, I may as well just piss off all of Europe, honestly.
Jesus Christ.
Fun fact, like
his next game mod is literally just gonna be insulting you the whole time.
Well, fun fact, Italy is not the only country that I've pissed off so far, believe it or not.
Honestly, why does that not surprise me?
Because if you know Opaga Magnet, or excuse me, Hippopotamus, Hippopotamus is from Slovakia, and
Okay.
me, like the little group that I have with Capitan and Lord Knower, I started this as well. We all joked that Slovakia is part of Eastern Europe, even though like when you mention that to like Slovaks, they will fucking go like livid by that mention, because. Again, like, as North Americans, I know, like, this kind of, like, seems very trivial, but there are a lot of countries in Europe who hate being called Eastern Europe. Like, even though, like, geographically, like, you guys are on the East, like, what's the big deal? But, no, like, Eastern Europe is, like, associated with this, like, very, like, negative stigma of, like, you know, these squatting Slavs and vodkas and, like, all these depressing commie blocks and, like, you know... all that yada yada. I'm gonna stop right there before I say some other mean things, but yeah. Eastern Europe is associated with like very like not so great things. And yeah. And the fact that we're all like poking fun at Hippopotamus for claiming that Slovakia is Eastern Europe is he's yeah, it's done numbers on our friendship, that's for sure.
Clearly.
Yeah. No, it's all good and fun, but still, I mean, it's never gonna stop.
No, honestly, why should it?
Yeah. So yeah, Slovakia is Eastern Europe, and pineapple pizza is great for you Italians out there. So there's two countries out there for you. You know.
Let the record show that I am not associated with them. He'll be promptly fired and left out of the freaking office by the end of this podcast.
And you know what country I'm coming next for Europeans? Next I'm coming for France. And then I'm gonna come for Germany. You know? And I'm gonna come for Spain. And then Greece. And then the Brits. None of you are safe.
Jesus Christ, man's waging war in all of Europe.
It's like kind of like that one quote from Modern Warfare 3 when Makarov comes. It's like, I want all of Europe. Yeah. Cool. But enough tangents and yapping here. There's some other things that I do want to talk about, and yeah, it's definitely.
Let's try and get back on track.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna help us break that 2-hour, you know, time record that I did with Chocobert. But still, you don't want to get too crazy over there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah. So back on track here. So I've talked about everything that I wanted to with gaming, so I guess if we could shift towards YouTube, which we also have a lot of yeah, it's not a huge shift, so because we did like mention like off the cuff like here and there earlier, so, but again, like, this kind of goes back to my earlier introduction. You've been on YouTube for 10 years. So, again, like, I feel like there's a lot more to unpack with your YouTube journey than it meets the eye. And that you have a lot of stories to tell that, maybe, that may, make things a little bit more interesting than what we know. So, in the first podcast, you did mention, like, you did briefly summarize your YouTube summary in that you had multiple channels earlier. You started off with mobile gaming, you did a little bit of music and whatnot, but I guess if you could, like, for those who didn't listen to the first podcast, if you could summarize your YouTube journey so far, that would be great.
I mean, I don't know what kind of influence you think I've had on YouTube. Like, yes, I've been doing YouTube since for the last 10 years, even though the majority of my channels have never had any success whatsoever. The first channel, like you said, I did mobile games for the first channel. I did music on a second channel, and a third channel I was doing specifically DDLC, Doki Doki Literature Club content. Because, again, I jailbroke my phone and I got a mobile for it. So, those were, like, the three, like, main things I did. But for mobile games, it just wasn't working out because there was no time for me to really record that kind of stuff. Especially since the phone that I had, again, it was an iPhone 4, was garbage. And, of course, doing music wasn't any easier because I was using a laptop that I use for school. And the free music software that I had, it could only do so much, to the point where apparently some of the music that I did make on one of my old channels kept getting flagged for copyright for another channel that was created a year after mine and was already claiming copyright on the majority of the music that I created, to the point where I had to actually shut that one down myself.
But you are persistent, so you never gave up, and now you're at your current channel being the corrupted judge. So
yes,
yeah.
This channel, I wasn't expecting it to get far. Like, I could have made this channel during COVID, which probably would have boosted the popularity of the channel, but I didn't. So, working on this channel, I never expected to get no more than 100, because on all my other channels, I never broke past 100. And yet, now looking at it with sitting just over 560, it's interesting to say the least, especially since I've been using this channel for 4 years. I was hoping I would have hit 1,000 by now, but my freaking content is stagnant. Still, I've gotten a lot further on this channel than I ever thought I would with the other channels, so that I am grateful for. Though granted, I have no idea why people enjoy content unless the majority of them are only here for Helltaker content, in which case I'm going to do a lot. I can see my mic cutting out! I can see it!
I can hear you perfectly fine, so no worries on that. Yeah. But, okay. So, yeah, there's the brief summary there, but before I get into, like, the contemporary, like, the present day and, like, the future of what your channel holds, here's another thing that I'm curious about. Since you've done YouTube for so long, how do you think, like, how much do you think YouTube has changed, like, since what I would assume to be 2016, or, like, around the time that you started and until now? Like, how much has YouTube evolved?
The algorithm and the TOS of YouTube has changed a lot since the beginning. But I could have gone back. We'll go back to like 2015, 2016. I could have a video from then, make it all the way to here, but because of the new updated TOS and everything, it can be flagged now for, like, I don't know, disorderly conduct or something like that. It'll be flagged for something stupid, even though at the time it was okay. So, because back then, back in the early days, I would swear a lot still. Granted, I still do now. But back then, it was not as worrisome. Like, YouTube didn't care if you swore or whatever. Versus nowadays, a lot of the time, YouTube will flag you simply by dropping 1 or 2 F-bombs or anything like that. So, the algorithm has changed, and because the future algorithm has changed, past videos are getting flagged for stuff. Heck, friggin' a couple years back, Markiplier got his very first YouTube strike for a video he created like 4 years prior to that. And the entire internet rallied to get that freaking strike taken off. So, the algorithm and the TOS has completely changed the game, and a lot of people need to be more careful, especially with their older content. I can make a video now, and then 2 years from now, it could be flagged by YouTube because it no longer meets their updated TOS.
I would say that the terms of service hasn't really changed that much, but rather YouTube has just developed the means to enforce that better, especially given their new AI tools that are much better at detecting not only terms of service violations, but also swear words, copyrighted music, which is something that I've also had to deal with a little bit, you know. So it's just that they've become much better at enforcing their own terms, I would say. But when it comes to the algorithm, though, yeah, definitely you are absolutely correct on that as well. So, and I don't know, like, in some ways, like, YouTube has become more difficult, but at the same time, things have become also much more standardized as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, like, let me give you an example. Like, monetization in, like, today, it's pretty standard and pretty, like, clear cut. You need 1,000 subscribers, obviously. You need $4,000 of public watch hours, no strikes, no terms of service violations. And after that, like, after, you know, YouTube, like, sort of reviews your channel, like, as a final measure, typically your channel gets monetized. But back in the old days, though, those standards, like, it wasn't very standardized, like how I just mentioned. Like, YouTube would, like really, like, microanalyze your channel as a whole to see that if you're worth investing or not, if that makes sense, you know, to see that if you actually have potential to bring a lot of ad money. So, in many ways, back in the old days, getting monetized on YouTube was almost like applying for a job, you know, or going for a job interview. So,
in my experience back then, the terms to get monetized wasn't as hard. It wasn't as hard back then as it is now, because back then I think you only needed 200 subscribers and I think it was only 100 watch hours. But as YouTube started growing and more people were meeting the requirements, they realized that they had to up the standard, otherwise they'll be losing money to the people making them money. So the standards started going up and up to one point where you needed 500 subscribers and I think it was 2,000 watch hours, which I would have hit the mark if that were the case. And now here we are with you need 1,000, 4,000 hours, and you need to be consistently uploading. I think you need to have at least 2 videos a month in order to keep your monetization status.
yeah, and not only that, but, like, they don't count, like, your total watch hours. They only count the total number of watch hours that you've had in the past 365 days.
Yeah, for the year. So
Yeah.
if I hit, like, all the requirements on January 1st of, like, 2027, they're not going to count me anything. So I have to work that entire year to get all those hours back. Otherwise, I will lose my opportunity. Versus somebody who hit the mark on December 31st of 2026, and they have just 1 hour over the 4,000 mark, they'll get the monetization. But because YouTube decided to wait until I did my own thing, I can easily be screwed over.
I mean, to be fair, though, I can understand from YouTube's perspective where they want to weed out, like, the inauthentic or inactive creators, because, again, like, they want to make money and they don't want to just lose money to a bunch of people who, you know, again, like, aren't really putting in the work anymore. But that being said, though, it is kind of heartbreaking in that the standards seem to be going like higher and higher as time goes on, you know, and that especially for someone like me who, like, hasn't been that long since I started YouTube, it can feel like the ladder is being pulled up. So, yeah. And I imagine for you, who's also done this a lot longer than I have, you know, perhaps the sentiments are even stronger for you as well.
Yeah.
So
everybody seems to believe that becoming a YouTuber and getting paid is easy, and I'll admit I thought it like that at one point too. And here I am still trying to make it, and no, it is not as easy as people think it is.
I can see why people think it's easy because you see the occasional viral like video blowing up a channel and whatnot, and definitely turning people's lives around. But again, that's like a needle in a haystack moment. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I actually, believe it or not, I actually had one of my videos somewhat go viral. It's like a little 5-second clip sitting at like 83,000 views, but you know, I mean, now I am grateful that the video did bring in like 200 subscribers like from the get-go. You know, I think it went up to 200 like within like a week's time span. You know,
Yeah.
But that at the same time though, that was just a one-hit wonder that I'm probably not going to be able to replicate ever. So, and besides that, that's not really the kind of content that I'm trying to make either, as you've noticed. You know, I'm trying to make more like long-form, serious content as well. So, for now, I'm just trying to go for that slow burn grind, as you call it. Yeah. Which.
No, I get it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that being said, though, I mean it. Like there's a lot of talk about like YouTube advice online, and you know, and like because so many people are trying to become YouTubers and whatnot. But I also wish that people would realize that not all advice is equal, in the sense that some advices, like some advices, just aren't applicable to what you're doing. You know, like if you're gonna make a video essay channel, you probably shouldn't get YouTube advice from a shorts channel that uploads a bunch of memes. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty obvious on that end, but yeah. So, but, which is why I totally agree with what you said the last time, and that you shouldn't just upload off the cuff, you know, you should really, like, do your, like, research a little bit, you know, and figure out what it is that you want to do. So...
No, because I used to do that with the first channel with mobile games. Like I would I'll get a game that I like, I'll record it, and I'll upload it. But looking back at that, that wasn't the way to work, because the games I played, they were not very popular at the time, because they were just some like generic simulation games or whatever, or some generic car driving simulators or whatever. Nobody really wanted to watch that. So I had to take all the experiences from the last 3-4 channels that I used to run, and here I am with number 5, and actually using all the experiences that I've gained over the last 10 years.
Yeah, so which is why I would say that your previous YouTube channels aren't exactly like, you know, a useless experience either, because you clearly learned a lot from it, you know. So
yeah,
and boy, like Lord knows that if I had to start over with YouTube, you know, I would have done a hell of a lot of things differently from when I first started it. You know, in fact, looking back at some of my old videos, I kind of cringe.
How do you think I feel when I look back at my first Helltaker series? Freaking, I still remember, I think I've mentioned this the last time, freaking staying up until like 4 a.m. trying to do daily uploads, editing, having to stay quiet so I didn't wake up everybody in the house. God, just thinking back on that hurts. Nowadays, I'm freaking loud and I don't really care who hears. Freaking, I'll do a live stream with my window open and I'm yelling at the screen. I don't care if my neighbors hear me.
It's like, what's this insane asylum going on at that house over there? It's like, damn.
Oh, this is the Helltaker guy.
Yeah. But yeah, but that being said, though, I mean, I guess to bring like back to like the whole like present and future prospects. I know I kind of asked that question like in our first podcast together, but what are your plans on growing your channel for the future to come, other than live streaming consistently?
Yeah, well, like I've said this on my channel, the live streaming I'm gonna try and do once or twice a week, especially during the summer when my work hours are dropping down, so I have more time to work on the stuff. But like you said, in regards to the judging series, I have to get a couple of those videos out before November, just to keep inclined with the meme of before GTA 6. There's a lot of stuff I gotta do. Freaking, there's the FBCN stuff that I gotta work on for a judging series, as you've mentioned. Now I gotta do the Awario one as well. And not only that, but there is the hope that Team 133 does somehow manage to get out the official 4th dates for Second Circle. If not, I still have the mobile beta that they gave me with beta versions of the 4th dates that I can still continue. So as much as I would like to leave Helltaker in the past and leave it there, now that Van Ripper is up the ante with Helltaker Comics, there's still games coming out. I would not be surprised if Hacker Striker's working on another Helltaker. And of course, there's the Azazel's Tale, which I know Hellish Pancake Entertainment is also still working on. There's still Helltaker for the future at the very. But to even help with that, like I've said, I was going to mention this later. In the podcast you had with Chocobird, you mentioned my old Spoopy Month series, freaking that I did for like 2 years, and then I ended up dropping it.
Yes.
Naturally, I have to do that again. In fact, I already have 2 or 3 videos scheduled for October.
Nice, and I'm very much looking forward to that for the creepy month vibe. So yeah, definitely fits the aesthetic.
Granted, a good chunk of them are probably just gonna end up being live streams like I did the first year, which honestly I don't mind. I prefer engaging with the community for scary ass games, anyways.
I think that probably works better because the viewers get to directly watch you and react to you getting your scared shitless. So
if you recall from the first year I did Spoopy Month, I mostly ended up playing Dark Deception, and the game slowly went from scary to frustrating because of the amount of bugs and glitches I kept running into in every single stream, especially near the end when my guy continued to get stuck in certain collisions, and I had no choice but to restart the entire level all over again, especially when I only had like maybe 2 or 3 items to collect. So, eventually, the series ended up becoming from scary at the start of the month to downright frustration all the way to the end. And with Dark Deception coming out with Chapter 5 soon, odds are I'm going to have to be playing that during the month of October, which can either be a hit or a miss, depending on how it goes on the channel.
But, hey, I mean, I guess the frustration probably adds a little bit of humor as well.
Yeah, to everybody but me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Imagine clicking onto a stream, you see a friggin' dude on camera with a mask on, yelling and screaming at a fictional friggin' teddy bear that won't let you leave.
It probably does take away the scariness too. Yeah.
It's more frustrating than scary, but I am looking forward to doing that in October.
Yeah, absolutely. Return to the roots again. So
yeah, might as well. I mean, I've been going back doing more Helltaker stuff again. Might as well go back and do some of the old series I used to do.
Speaking of Helltaker, I mentioned this in the chat when you did the Judgment fan game for Second Circle by Hacker Striker, but I know again I know you're trying to move on from Helltaker, but that being said though, I think like moving on is like the wrong way to put it, in that it's not something that you have to give up 100%, like in absolutes. As long as new Helltaker stuff keeps coming, I don't think there's really any harm in you continuing to put out content for it. But at the same time, just don't let your channel purely be defined by Helltaker only, which is why when there are drop moments or seasons when there are no Helltaker content, you can just do other stuff. And then when Helltaker content does drop again, you can return to Helltaker, and yeah, you can just make it like a seasonal thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where you just engage with it every now and then, and especially with Second Circle, Fourth Dates possibly coming back, as well as other fan games, being dropped around as well. I don't think there's really any harm in you continuing to make Helltaker stuff, And I know you're also worried about, how this might possibly affect the algorithm, but honestly, I mean, at least in my opinion, I don't think it really affects the it really doesn't impact it as much as you think it might. So yeah. So
the majority of my community is mostly here for Helltaker anyways. Because I remember at one point when I announced that I'm probably going to stop doing the Helltaker content for a while, my subscriber count did end up dropping, which showed that a good chunk of my community prefers Helltaker content over anything else I do. Which I guess is understandable, it's how everybody found me. But there's only so much you can do with so much content available.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dispute the fact that Helltaker like eventually will probably run its course. But that being said, though, there's no harm in capitalizing on the new content that does drop, like at the moment. You know, even if it does help only in the short term. And frankly, even if some subscribers do end up ditching you, like once you really do stop making Helltaker content, that's fine because, I mean, number one, your core audience will still remain, and once you start making content on other new stuff, you'll gain a new audience as well. Kind of like how I mentioned in my old, like, you know, brief video about, you know, YouTubing and whatnot. So, and like, since you do GTA, are you familiar with a YouTuber called The Professional?
No.
No? Okay. Well, he's a very popular GTA YouTuber, and like he kind of went through a similar dilemma in that like he started off making a bunch of GTA content, and that's all he was known for. But there came a point where like long after GTA 5 came out, GTA content was just kind of, you know, barren, where there really wasn't much to make anymore. So he started shifting to other content, you know, doing walkthroughs of other games, and like it actually pissed off a lot of people. A whole load of people unsubscribed to his channel and like kept on like bugging him, like, why aren't you doing more GTA content, yada yada yada. But eventually he just stopped listening to them. And yeah, he did lose a couple subscribers, but slowly he also developed his own brand as like beyond just a GTA channel and became like his own channel as opposed to just a generic GTA channel. So, and now he's doing pretty well. So I know I'm like kind of blabbering here, but the point I'm trying to make is that yes, Helltaker is what upstarted your channel, you know, and it is what you're mostly known for, but it's not impossible for you to develop your own brand as well, and while still doing the occasional Helltaker content every now and then, which again, I don't think it's gonna hurt you that much as you think it might. So
that's fair enough, I suppose.
Pep talk over. Yeah. So, but that being said, though, I am looking forward to the fourth dates, you know, being dropped and you doing your classic playthroughs again. So, because, yeah, again, like I said, I used to play your Second Circle playthrough like playlist on the background all the time while I did busy work. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, like you really do have that like personality and the voice of a radio host, and I think that's what kind of helped a lot.
It's like what people say, I just have a face for radio.
And the voice as well, yeah. I mean, to kind of prove that, if I could just check out your channel briefly. Let's see. Aha. So if I check out your channel, and among your playlists, let's see. The Helltaker Second Circle. Guess how many views your playlist has?
Playlist itself?
Yeah, for
I'm
Second
gonna
Circle.
say 10,000 or less, because I know the most viewed one is the Justice Second Date, which I think landed at 28,000.
Multiply that by 2. Your Second Circle playlist has 20,756 views.
Oh, hang on a minute. Now I need to fact check this.
People played your playlist over 20,000 times.
Hang on, I'm fact checking this. Give me a minute. What the heck?
I told you.
Why do people like this content?
But it proves a point, you know? So, I mean...
No, you're right.
That people really like your playthroughs to the point where they're willing to play it, like, over and over again and rewind. So, I wouldn't give up Helltaker just yet, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it probably makes even more sense for you to continue to make Helltaker content than me, because, like, me, like, no, the Helltaker chapter is closed. Like, I really, like, don't have anything else that I can think of, nor want to create any more Helltaker related. So, for me, the Helltaker chapter has truly closed, and I'm really trying to, like, move on from it. So, and... But that's a different story for you, so, yeah. Yeah, but what was? We kind of got a little tangent there again.
Again.
Yeah, but no, I mean
It's become a habit.
it's kind of, I mean, it's still related somewhat though, so I don't mind it too much.
Yeah.
Actually, here's another tangent though, but it's kind of, important, and relevant again. What is your, to pivot back to the gaming topic? What's your take on GTA 6?
I'm not gonna play it when it launches. I'm gonna tell you that much for two reasons. One, I don't have an Xbox XS or PlayStation 5, so I can't really play it anyways. But also, I know that the day that it drops, everybody's going to be on it. The game servers are going to lag, and I'm willing to tell you right now, I'm willing to bet the servers crash on day one because of the amount of people who go and play.
Yup. Yeah, because GTA 6 is, like, possibly the most anticipated game, like, has been for a couple years now.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why Modern Warfare 4 is also releasing in October as opposed to the typical November release, because no studio or publisher is dumb or stupid enough to try to compete with GTA 6 for the spotlight. So...
100%.
Yeah. But that said, though, you are obviously going to play it, though, right?
Well, I mostly started playing GTA 5 with my Xbox One S. Like, yeah, I could have bought a Series X or a Series S, but I got this one and started playing GTA 5 because all my buddies also play on the old generation Xbox. So, to put it, I'll play it when they get the system and they can play.
Gotcha. That's fair, yeah.
Because there's no point in playing alone most of the time. So I'd rather just play with them and make some freaking stupid memories and antics, rather than just playing on my own and then realizing that it wasn't the hype.
Yeah, I've noticed that your GTA 5, the snippets of gameplay are mostly like more of a collaborative thing with your buddies as opposed to a solo thing. So
Yeah.
yeah. But that being said, though, I mean, even though I'm not really a huge fan of GTA in general, I am curious to see what 6 is going to be like, because again, it's, as you know, it's going to take place in Florida, and the last GTA title that played in that set in Florida was Vice City, and that was a pretty decent game, so with a lot of great music tracks. So I'm really curious how the modern 2026 rendition of Florida Man is gonna be like. I'm expecting a lot of alligators.
From a car guy's perspective, which this is normally how I see it, I'm more interested to see what kind of cars and modifications they'll be adding into the game.
Ah, gotcha. I mean, Florida does have a huge car culture, so yeah, we would be surprised if they don't pay some extra attention to that, as well. Yeah. So, yeah. This year is definitely going to be a massive. Yeah, it's really good. It's really on a roll when it comes to gaming, I will say. To expand a little on that. Yeah. Again, the games that I'm looking forward to, again, it's the Halo remake. Oh, there's a new Doom game coming out as well. I forgot to mention that too. It's like Dark Ages
Another
DLC.
one?
Yep. Dark Ages DLC. It's called Revelations.
Of course.
Yeah. I think it's basically like a sequel of Dark Ages where if you're familiar with like the 9 circles of hell like thing, Doom guy basically gets thrown into the 9th circle where like hell is completely frozen. So, yeah. It's and I think I think the developers are really playing into the whole like Dante's Inferno aspect of like the hell world building. So it's definitely a far cry from the early 90s Doom, that's for sure, where the original Doom was really just a silly game, pixelated game.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. Yeah. But anyways, tangents over to get back to the old YouTube thing. But that being said, though, I mean, looking at my notes here, I don't really have that many more things to talk about when it comes to YouTube. Actually, I am curious what your take on this. What's your take on all the AI slop that's just so prevalent on YouTube nowadays?
Okay, this is a topic that I get asked a lot within the FBCN, the other group that I work with. So, I'm not a stranger to AI. Like, I know about it. I use the AI on my phone. I use the AI on my phone for a bunch of hands-free stuff. But seeing, like, AI art, AI videos, AI games, I find it stupid. It's just an easy out for most people. One of the ways I can describe it is my dad didn't raise me to be lazy. He always believed in hard work gets rewarded properly. So seeing the amount of people who just take the easy route, it kind of pisses me off. So I'll admit that I've used ChatGPT's like AI image creator, but not for my own gain, but for a reference. Because you're not the only artist that I work with. I do have other artists that I work with. So I will use the AI generation thing to send to them as a reference. I won't use it for like my own personal stuff or anything like that. The best way to describe it for me is that I don't like when people get paid by using AI content. Get paid the right way. If you're using AI to make money, then don't bother. If you're using AI for like enhancements or references, go ahead.
Yeah, we're kind of getting into like murky topic of like AI art in general, but I will also say this. I don't think. How do I put this carefully to make sure that I'm not being misinterpreted? Let's see. I will say this, that AI art like inherently is not a terrible thing, but the way people go about it is very unethical. In that you know how AI art works, where it basically harvests data like of other artworks made by other artists without their consent, and then just produce a slop basically. But and not only that, but like there are some AI tubers and just AI like businessmen in general who use that to basically make a bunch of money, which it may as well like be a scam at that point. But that being said, though, this is a very specific example. I don't know if you're aware with how like video game production works behind the scenes, especially in the artistic side, but you do know what a concept art is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, concept artists, they make a bunch of artwork behind the scenes that are not used for production. Similar to what you just said about using AI-generated art for, like, references and whatnot. Yeah, basically a concept artist's job is to produce reference artwork to help other, like, asset artists, like 3D modelers and environments, to use that artwork as reference to build the actual assets in the game. And I have seen some arguments as to how AI art can possibly use to speed up the concept, art portion, like behind the scenes. And since that artwork never gets used like for the actual production purposes anyways, there is an argument to be made in that, it doesn't violate the morals necessarily. But that being said, though, and everything else that I've seen, though, I'm fully on board with you in that, yeah, AI is just kind of used as an easy cop-out, or easy out to try to make a living in a very lazy manner. And we especially see it with a lot of AI YouTubers, where the voice is clearly AI, the script is clearly AI, the images are clearly AI, like almost zero human input. And yeah, I'm fully on board with you. Yeah, it really does tick me off as well, because I mean, not to like sound like not to sound like I have like victim mentality here, but it does sincerely kind of irk me that I'm putting a bunch of hours into my YouTube channel trying to produce authentic content, and barely with subscriber base like very slowly, in fact barely growing, and then I see all these other like AI tubers just mass spamming a bunch of AI videos and gaining thousands of subs. So
Yeah.
I mean, like other than like
everybody would do it. But
Yep,
the problem
yeah.
is now it's become easy for some aspects, and now everyone's doing it.
Yep. Now, I guess somewhat of a good news is that YouTube does seem to be cracking down on a lot of these AI channels recently because they recognize that, number one, like, people don't like it, and secondly, it's just, yeah. I guess it's not really an efficacious business model either because a lot of companies they're apprehensive about playing their ads on AI videos.
Yeah.
So that is kind of a good news on that end, but I have also seen a lot of like actual human content creators like mistakenly being flagged as AI and therefore like the channel's being demonetized and whatnot. So that's kind of a unfortunate tragedy as well. But I think that's more of an enforcement mechanism problem as opposed to the actual like broader policy. So I mean, I am overall in favor of YouTube cracking down on AI slop channels, but I think kind of unintended consequences on the sidelines. So, yeah. I hope both of our channels don't get mistaken as AI. That would
I
be...
highly doubt that the content I do will be mistaken for AI.
Actually, that's a good point, yeah. I keep forgetting that you actually used Facecam. So,
Exactly.
yeah. With me, though, that's a different story. Yeah. I hope I sound human enough, and I'm hoping the occasional live streams that I had, as well as these podcasts, are also, indicative that that I'm an actual person speaking into the microphone. Here I'm tapping my microphone as well. I don't know if you can hear it. YouTube, that's me tapping into the microphone. So I'm not an AI program.
One thing too that I'm gonna go by when it comes to like sounding like an AI or human. The problem I can see is that some people don't always pronounce words the same way as other people. And the best way I can describe that is literally earlier this morning when I was streaming Undertale. I was playing Undertale, somebody in the chat going by the name of, I have to say it like, went by the name of Chara, Chara. Now, keep in mind people, I don't know a whole lot about Undertale. I've never played it myself. I don't know the endings. I know like small bits and pieces of information, but otherwise, I'm pretty much going in blind here. So when they show up, and because of my Latin heritage, I roll the R. So instead of saying Chara, I say Chara, and apparently that started pissing them off. And the more I kept doing it, the more I started thinking, are they going to start thinking like I'm some kind of weird ethnic AI because I'm saying words wrong? Because if you recall, most AIs will not say the word that it's supposed to be pronounced as.
Yep.
So with that in mind, I have to either stop doing the way I've learned to speak things and start doing it, like, and no offense to most people, doing it the white boy way, or just keep doing my thing and hope that nobody flags me saying I'm some weird Hispanic AI.
Wouldn't it be the opposite, though?
I don't know. This is the internet.
No, like, when it comes to, like, the AI thing, because I guess, like, again, like, you pronouncing things the more authentic way would actually indicate that you are not AI. Where, I don't know if you...
It depends on who you are.
Yes, but at least going off YouTube, which is owned by Google, Google's AI pronounces things in a very generic, accent-free way, if you want to call it, so... I mean... I don't know. I mean, I don't work in Google, so hell if I know. But...
Fair enough.
Yeah. But you do make a good point, though, in that, yeah, like, not everybody pronounces things the same way and whatnot, and... I don't know what accent I sound like. In fact, you tell me, when I'm done here, but... With me...
Jersey Mike.
Jersey Mike, oh my god. No, but honestly though, I basically, again, I live in the Midwest of the US, and we are known for not having any accent.
Yeah, you just sound like a typical American.
Yeah, just a typical American accent. So, and again, that kind of hurts me because, that's increases the likelihood of me, being flagged as AI even more.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, hey, you're a product of your environment in some way, so it can't help it.
Fair enough.
Had I grown up in New York, I definitely would be having a New York accent. So, yeah, but yeah, I mean, but in any case, I mean, we glad to hear that we're fully on board when it comes to that whole AI bullshit and whatnot. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't see it last very long given the current, state of AI at the moment. I don't know if you keep up with it too much, but people are figuring out that a lot of these like massive data centers that are used for building AI is costing a hell of a lot more money than it produces. So at the end of the day, it's just not very profitable. I think Sora recently just like closed down as well, and yeah, if the trajectory keeps going that route, then yeah, it's a lot of these AI companies are also gonna have no choice but to shut down. So, which honestly, I am completely fine with that.
You also have to keep in mind AI is the reason for the RAM shortage.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because a lot of the biggest distributors of RAM, I think it was GTX, no RTX, I think it was. RTX also makes their own RAM. I could be wrong on the company. But when they announced that they were not going to be making RAM for a couple years because they're only making it for all these AI distribution centers, which also use a bunch of freaking water to keep their systems cool.
Yep.
A lot of people, and gamers included, started rioting because RAM is what's needed to run the games. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have enough RAM to run the game's not going to. But you can't go and upgrade your RAM because all the RAM is gone to function for an AI that doesn't even know what it's doing.
Stuff that nobody wants to use anyways, let's be honest, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But, yeah, I mean, in the end, though, I mean, not gonna get too much into, like, economics here, but money talks, so if these AI data centers don't produce any profits, then, eventually the money... They will have no choice but to follow the money.
Yeah,
and close them down. So, yeah. But, I mean, that being said, though, I mean, I know we're like this has been kind of turned into an AI shitting fest here, but that being said, though, I mean, I will say that there are some benefits to AI, and that it can be very beneficial in performing a bunch of grunt menial tasks that we don't want to bother with, and it can also definitely help with a lot of like medical work as well, So, I guess broadly, as long as AI stays out of entertainment, I don't really care too much about how like it's used, other than like baseline stuff like ethics and whatnot,
Yeah.
So, but neither of us are big tech nerds, so we're probably not very qualified to comment too much on that. We're just speaking as artists and content creators, so really commenting on what affects us only. Yeah. But I'm sure when I eventually talk about AI art with Chocobird for a future podcast with her, she's definitely gonna unload a lot of thoughts too. Because she's an artist, like me, so yeah. Man. But yeah, so AI slop bad, so we'll have that verdict for now. Yeah. But damn. So we actually covered all the topics that I wanted to, including the YouTube side, which went a hell of a lot faster than I thought it would. So, but it's a great, again, it's a good thing that we had that like intermittent like tangent period ranting about pizza, because without that, we would not have broken the 2-hour recording time mark. So
Suck it, Choco.
She's gonna watch this, so yeah. Now she's gonna try to beat this as well.
You're gonna end up finishing all your topics with Choco again, and she's gonna be like, "Wait, no, longer."
You saw what happened at the end of the podcast with her, and that we just started talking, like going off tangent, our own little tangents about traveling and whatnot. So yeah. Man.
Screw it. At some point, you're just gonna have me and Choco on the same podcast.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind that either. Actually,
God, that'd be interesting.
The time zone difference is definitely gonna be a hassle. Well, actually, we live in the same zone, so for us, it's not a really huge deal. But
Because I'm pretty sure she's on, what, an 8-hour difference from us?
yeah, Eastern European time. Yeah, I know it's a
Yeah.
dirty word, or Eastern Europe. Yeah. Yeah.
So, 8-hour difference from us, so right now it is, like, I'm guessing midnight for her?
Yeah, or very close to it, that's for sure. Yeah. So,
No, I think we can make it work. We just gotta find a day that works for all of us.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of a hassle to, like, whenever I'm talking to Cap, because we, like, call occasionally every now and then, you know. So, you know. I can't, like, talk too long with him because typically our call starts in, like, the afternoon, then eventually it's, like, midnight for him and he has to go to bed, so it's, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But yeah, but anyways, with all that being said, though, yeah, I don't know if you have anything else that you'd like to talk about, because I'm basically I've marked all the checks on the topics that I've written down in my notebook. So,
All right, so I'm gonna kick the notebook out of your hands, and we're gonna convert this to a Corrupted After Dark episode.
12 seconds later.
all right, I am back, and actually, before you go on and take over as the host here for the After Dark session, just want to make some minor announcement here before I forget later on when we inevitably wrap up the podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, this will actually be the last podcast posted on this channel. Okay, not the last podcast ever. You know, don't mishear me. The last podcast posted on this channel, because both of my channels, this main channel and the second channel, Lawrence of Valeria, is actually going through a bit of a reorganization. And as you guys know, my second channel has been kind of in a funk where I don't really know what the hell to do with it. But after doing the podcast with both Corrupted Judge and Chocoburb, I think I've figured out what I want to do with the second channel. And you guys can probably guess what that's going to be. So, yeah, again, this podcast will be the last one posted on this channel. All future podcasts will be posted on the second channel. The only reason I'm posting this one on this channel is because we're talking about gaming and YouTube, which I feel is relevant enough to this main channel's theme. So, just to let you guys know on that. Alright, done with the announcement. Go ahead, Nan.
All right, now since this is gonna be the last podcast ever, obviously, we have to make these last couple of minutes interesting, and by that, Lawrence is going to be taking a peek into my mind and the daily things that go through my head. For example, what are your thoughts on female robots?
Female robots? Wow. Like, well, do you mean like in fiction or like real life?
We'll go with fiction. I feel like if we go in real life, that's a whole AI talk.
Yeah, that's a good point. But, I mean, I provided they look attractive enough, I think they look hot. I mean, don't really know what else to say.
There's no organic material whatsoever, and if you attempt to stick it in, it could just end up being grindy.
I guess we're kind of getting into adult topics here, but it really depends on what the material is made out of.
Hey, you said I could host the last few minutes. I'm hosting the last few minutes. If it's adult, that's on you. You forgot who you're talking to.
As long as we keep the language coded, I think that's really all that matters. Which.
So if I take this, if you took your aesthetically pleasing baseball bat and you attempted to put it inside her soccer field, would it not be grinded up by the blades of gears?
Given where the baseball has been, I would not. I'd think thrice about that.
Intriguing.
Oh, what is happening?
Well, since we're already on the topic of alternative women, what about? And I'm gonna use a little logic from the Azazel's Tale for. At the end of the Azazel's Tale, when I was talking with the devs, they showed me a female character, that was comprised of magma and fire. So where do we stand on the possibilities of this?
I think I would rather enjoy it with my eyes from a distance and keep the physics out of the way. It's just
But what if she was made of ice?
the logic would be the same because ice can cause your limbs to crack. We'll call it that.
I mean, yeah, but think about it. One-time opportunity. If you go down a legend.
I feel like I'm number one. I still have a full life ahead of me, so I'm not gonna throw that away for a one-time glorious blaze, if you want to call it.
Just to let everybody know, this might be the last time I'm allowed on the podcast.
You're pushing it, man.
No, I haven't even begun to push.
Oh boy.
But I have to be tame, because this isn't my channel, unfortunately.
YouTube, if you're somehow, like, analyzing this podcast here, just want to let you know that this is not my doing. This is all on him, so I know it's my channel, but just want to put a little disclaimer out there.
Come and get me. I don't care. I've challenged YouTube before, I'll do it again. Alright, let's do something a little bit more tame. What are your thoughts on cosplay?
Cosplay? Honestly, actually, some of them sincerely look absolutely cool. Some of the dedication that these cosplayers do, you know, with armor pieces and whatnot. Full respect. In fact, one day I would like to cosplay as a Halo Spartan. But with that being said, some of them are... I don't want to sound too mean here, but some of them probably shouldn't engage in that activity. They're
Have you ever attempted cosplay before this?
I have not actually, no. Unfortunately.
Why?
I simply don't have the money to buy costumes.
What do you mean? People do it for cheap all the time.
Uh,
VTubers?
well, VTubers are one thing. I'm not gonna comment too much, but
when are we going to have a Lawrence PNG model for your channel?
You know what? Now that you mentioned that, one of these days when my channel grows to a decent size, I have a decent, community / fan base, and I have money to spare, I will actually cosplay as my character in one of these cons, what's Comic-Con or whatnot.
I more or less have mine set and ready to go. I just gotta get the clothing. I know where to get it, and it'll cost me like $200. So after $200, I can technically recreate the K2 suit.
Oh, absolutely. With you, it's pretty simple. You just gotta get the fedora hat, the suit, the red shirt, the gloves. Just paint the tips a little bit red with blood, and not actual blood.
Well, that ruins the aesthetic if it's not real. It's called dedication.
All right, well, just don't use other people's blood.
Well, that's even worse. If you punch a guy and the blood gets on the gloves, automatically they are now part of the cosplay. So therefore, if I want it to be authentic, I need to punch a guy.
Well, have you found any volunteers to get punched by you?
Are you offering?
No.
Why not? Think about it. You will go down in history as being a part of my costume.
My blood isn't very valuable. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's not valuable, so you don't need it. So I can use it.
Not valuable for other people. They never said that it wasn't valuable for me.
You didn't say it was valuable to you. And my dogs are going off again, so I guess we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Actually, for real, or you just don't need to take a break or not?
No, I think we're gonna have to wrap this up now, because what time is it? Yeah, it's 4:30. Holy shit, we're at this for like almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and we already beat Chocober's recording time anyway, so it's whatever. I mean,
Well, that's my victory.
Yeah, and we already covered all the topics we needed to, and we got a little, honestly, very, very bizarre after dark session. As bizarre as it was.
This is why I don't take you to my podcast, because my podcast is a little out.
Alright. I mean, I might come by once just to see what it's like, and then I'll decide from there.
Just standing in the corner watching as we talk.
I'm more curious what your other two co-hosts are like. Which, I mean, but...
Let me put it this way. I'll put a carrot in front of them, and we'll find a way to screw it up. That's all I gotta say.
Alright, well... Anyways, yeah, if that's really the end of it, then... Well, ladies and gentlemen, that finally wraps up my round 2 podcast with the Corrupted Judge, and I'm very happy that he's accepted the offer to come back. And once again, Corrupted Judge, you're always welcome to come back for a third and many more rounds that you want to do, you know, as much as you want. In fact, I wouldn't, like, since I kind of want my second channel to be, like a repository of podcasts, I wouldn't mind you playing as sort of like a co-host in a way, you know, just for you to stop by and for us to talk about anything we want, honestly. As bizarre, yeah, as bizarre as some topics may be, whether it's, you know, our little recent After Dark moment about robot females,
just a small snippet of what I do.
Yeah, robot females, me pissing off Europeans, you know, having garbage food takes, which, no, like Italians, you are wrong. You don't get to gatekeep food. Hawaiian pizza all the way. Pineapple's number 1. In fact, let me go even further. We're gonna put pineapples on your gelato. We're gonna put pineapples on your spaghetti.
Hold up. What is this we business? I have no problem with Europe, and Europe has no problem. Don't drag me down with you right now.
I don't know. You're once you hopped on board here, there's no going back, man. Once you go pineapples, there's no going back. I don't know what the hell that even means. But anyways.
Put extra pepperonis on mine.
Anyways, on a serious note though, Corrupted Judge, thank you for stopping by for this, once again, another very entertaining podcast. You know? And once again, you're always welcome to come back here, you know, for future rounds. And Chocoburb, I know you're watching this, so yeah, you're probably going to be up next for my next podcast round, so yeah, be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I don't know what else there is to say. Again, I'm struggling to end this just like last time.
This is why I'm here. Alright, ladies, gentlemen, Jerry, and also between and beyond, it has been an honor and a pleasure being here once again over on, what the heck is this podcast called again?
Honestly, I don't have a name for it either.
Starside After Hours, we'll say now.
Yeah. But I'm probably going to rename that or whatever, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
It's been an honor and a pleasure, everybody, being here on Starside Hours or Starside After Hours, whatever we prefer to call it. Lawrence, as always, an amazing host, amazing channel, topics, and of course, going off tangent and freaking pissing off half the world. Choco, if you're watching this, which we all know you are, I have once again beaten your record, Choco. If you want to beat it again, go right ahead. Hell, I am also looking forward to doing a podcast with you as well. With all that said, guys, I'm the Corrupted Judge, also known as RDS. And we'll see y'all in the next one.
Alright, thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night. Corrupted Judge, everybody. Links in the description below. Have a good night, everyone. See ya. Bye. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon for supporting this channel. My $5 patrons are Kapitan Sladek, Kidsap, Chocoburb, and Dravenraven. My $2 patrons are Komida the Prep Cook Demon. If you would like to appear at the end credits of my videos, as well as have early access and exclusive content on Patreon, feel free to hop on over to patreon.com/LTELawrence and give a pledge. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching. Until next time, this is T. Lawrence of the Arcadia, signing out.